Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday morning, November 14th. We are just a handful of days away from Thanksgiving, and people are already putting up their Christmas trees. Can you believe it? As if it's not bad enough having to go to the store and listen to Christmas music 2 months before December even rolls around. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the verge of another invasion. Just 2 weeks ago, it was candy corn. Now it is the green trees of Christmas that are popping up everywhere. Shout out to you. Anywhere you are making part of your day here makes us happy because that means you're supporting us. Please continue to support us. Sign up for the email that comes into your inbox every day. It's a newsletter. It's free. You don't watch all the games. I do. Hit up the newsletter so you never miss a moment. Subscribe there. Brought to you by our sponsors, Slam Goods. Head over to slamgoods.com. Use promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15% off of your purchase. And if you have not caught the dime with Josh Rodriguez, I was on there last week. You can actually watch it and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about with the Rewind series. Both Kobe Bryant and Allen Iverson available. Head over to slamgoods.com, promo code HoopSpaces. Save yourself some money to buy yourself a proper cup of coffee. Hey, I'm happy for you, unless you're a Knicks fan. If you're a Knicks fan, we're laughing. All right, be back in 10. Good morning. All right. Good morning, everybody. Unless you're a Knicks fan. If you're a Knicks fan, this is not a good morning. This is a bad morning. Setting a franchise record for points scored in a quarter, and somehow you still lose by 10. Ladies and gentlemen, that is just absolutely hilariously pathetic, which was yesterday's matinee between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the one New York Knickerbockers, who nicked. They did the ultimate Nick job yesterday. And you know what? You know Stephen A woke up so happy this morning because, like, he gets to do what he always does, which is lampoon the New York Knickerbockers. Like, other than the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know any other team that he can constantly go into his bag that's 30 years old and come out with the same jokes and the same material, and it still hits. Man, shout out New York Knicks. All right, you know what to do. The newsletter is up there. Please like and retweet the newsletter. Like and retweet the show card. If you are supporting us because you're in here listening every day or whenever you can, we are appreciative. But we're asking for you to take that step, with us as we try to build and grow in season 2. So if you could do us the favor, like and retweet the Hoop Spaces review newsletter, and then like and retweet the show card. Let the good people know that we are here talking basketball every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. I want to give big shouts out to all of you that normally come in here. Bonkai's ready to go. What's up, EK, TJ, Justin Padden, Akil, JFK, Suni, CT Pittman, Bakari, Zach. What's up, McKenzie, Corey? Thank you all for always coming through. If you want to come up on stage, I'm going to wait for that to be liked and retweeted so we can get you up here and get started. Bonkai is already ready to go. And yes, we are awaiting Sean with a W so we can get his New York Knicks rant in here as well. But we're just going to open up with some good mornings, right? Good morning, Bonkai. How you doing?
We fucking stink.
You can't even say hi, good morning. You just gonna open up with that? Wow.
Chris, good morning, everybody. We suck. I mean, why? Why do we have to be this bad?
We'll get there.
48. How do you drop 48 in the first quarter and then proceed to look absolutely inept on both ends for the rest of the game?
Yeah, we definitely gonna get you there. All right, don't worry. Don't worry at all.
Anyways, I don't care. The Giants won yesterday, so my Sunday was still good. 7-2. We're playing on next week and then on Thanksgiving, and the World Cup is starting this Sunday. So
see, soothe your soul. Soothe your soul with the New York Giants. That is something that I've never thought I would ever hear.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to some of these scores. If you want to come on up, raise those hands, like and retweet, and participate and engage to earn your way up on stage. We're going to get Justin up here maybe one day. But right now, if you're looking below, he is absolutely killing it with his takeaways. And this is exactly kind of what I want everybody to do if you have this time. Put away your takeaways from the games that you watch and take Justin's lead as a phenomenal content creator himself on YouTube. You can check him over at JP the Franchise over there. But that's what this is. We want to know what you feel and think about what happened in yesterday's games. And here we go. The Thunder, 145. The Knicks, 135. 4 quarters of basketball. I'm going to repeat this again. The Oklahoma City Thunder gave up 135 points in 4 quarters of basketball and won. They won by scoring 145. And I smiled the entire time because all I could hear was that Tom Thibodeau is responsible for Doc Rivers' greatness with that defense. And it's just not true. The Timberwolves up in the Cavaliers, who are without Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen. Darius Garland, 27 points in the fourth quarter on his way to dropping 51. So give him a shout out, which was the highest point total of the day until 4 hours later when Joel Embiid dropped 59 against the Jazz, beating Utah in Philly 105-98. The Washington Wizards pick up another sneaky win, 102-92 over the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies were without John Morant and Desmond Bane. We'll get into that. I decided to watch the Nuggets and Bulls. I don't understand why I chose to focus on that game as opposed to a couple others. 126-103. And if I told you that Jokic just won the MVP by taking 4 shots, would you believe me? Because that's what happened last night. He took only 4 field goal attempts. He was not fouled on the line, and he dominated the Chicago Bulls, 126-103. Michael Porter Jr. looking healthy. He was pretty good. Still allergic to rebounding. That's somewhat kind of annoying. The Kings beat the Warriors, and I'm going to tell you this. I put this out in the tweet. We'll probably hear from Mark Edwards of Monstar Labs. He might come through. It's a 2-man show in Golden State, and those 2 men is Steph Curry and one Andrew Wiggins. And if you look at the 13 games they have played, there's only been 2 players who have been consistent, and their names are Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins. Everybody else has been inconsistent, and that defense got cooked again. We'll talk about that with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis basically manhandling at times. And the Lakers needed a win so bad. They pulled it out, 116-103 over the Brooklyn Nets. Anthony Davis, 10 offensive rebounds, 18 total in the game, 37 points. Kevin Durant, another masterful performance, 31-9-7. And if we do get the chance, we'll probably get Saint maybe from Nets Kingdom up here, and we'll talk about that. But up first, it was the matinee game. People in New York were happy. They were putting out text left and right that, hey, we're going to the matinee and we're not talking the movies. And they were electric in the first quarter. I have never heard the Garden that loud. That wasn't a playoff game. It was phenomenal. And then the wheels came off. 48 points in the first quarter, 36 for Oklahoma City. Cam Reddish looked engaged. Julius Randle was going to run them out the building. RJ Barrett was in foul trouble. It was really weird. But then the second and third quarter happened where the Oklahoma City Thunder put up a combined 86 points. And in the group chat that we are in, we were talking, and I don't think people actually understand how dominant of a win this was. The score was way closer at the end than it needed to be because they just threw in the white flag. Isaiah Joe, I think Kenrick Williams, Jalen Williams was out there. The Aaron Wiggins was out there because they were just up. Oklahoma City shot 55 for 88 from the floor. That is insane. And if you take out the 31 3-point attempts and the 17 makes, it got worse. They shot 66% on 2 points, and they were like 92% at the rim. 0-0-0 defense played by the New York Knicks. It was pathetic, especially in that second and third quarter. The good news for New York, though, is if this is the Cam Reddish that we were expecting to see when he was drafted out of Duke, that's a good thing because he was needed. As I said earlier, RJ Barrett was in early foul trouble. He did not see the remaining 21 minutes of the game. I think that was really Tom Thibodeau trying to put it to the young man, saying you need to buckle in and be better. I asked, like, well, are you going to do that to yourself? Because you kind of have a hand in this. Jalen Brunson, 17-7. Isaiah Hartenstein starting in place of Mitchell Robinson, 14-7. Cam Reddish, 26. Julius Randle, 25-10. And my word, we have the Knicks survivor poll up there. It's bad. It's real bad. Sean with the W shared this tweet with us in the group chat. I'm putting it up there now, and it'll explain a little bit more on what they see with Julius Randle. Shout out to Josh Giddey, second career triple-double at the Garden. The only other player to open up his career at the Garden with a triple-double, Wilt Chamberlain. So that's dope. Give him a point for that. 24 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 37 points, 9 for 10 from the line, 8 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 6 turnovers. Alexei Pukashevsky, 12, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, 17, and Lou Dort, 24. Phenomenal game by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Dr. Clam might be popping in to get some Thunder propaganda up here, but we'll turn to Bonkai. Bonkai, what gives, man? And who are you voting off the New York Forever Island? Are you voting off Randle, Thibodeau, or Leon Rose?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, at this point, all three of them can go. I don't care. I really feel like the team as a whole has completely tuned out Tom Thibodeau. They're not buying into his ugly offensive schemes. They're not buying into his defensive schemes either. Like I said, I think they've tuned them out. You're supposed to be a great defensive minded coach, yet your team can't play a lick of defense. Like I saw some of the videos, some of the breakdowns of the defense of yesterday's game, and it was completely horrendous. Like I know I watched it live when I was watching the game, but that didn't even do it justice. Like if you sit down and just watch the breakdown, it looks even worse. Um, this guy needs to go. The Knicks have a 5-game road trip out west coming up this week, and if they go either 0-5 or even 1-4, I don't think Tibbs survives it. Either that or something else is going to happen. But something is going to happen if the trip goes, horribly wrong, which I'm pretty sure at this point it probably is. The way we're playing, we might not win a game on that trip.
I tell you what, you might not. Coming up on New York's schedule, and if you remember, Sean with the W was here, and he was saying, hey, if we can make it past X amount of games, then we can kind of enter into this land where we can go 500. But coming up, ladies and gentlemen, they have the Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, the Golden State Warriors, who are down but not out. And then they'll visit Oklahoma City again on the 21st. That is a barn burner because right now you would think that they were only going to win one, but then the team you picked that they would win against just beat them. So yeah, like 0-5, 1-4. I even think 2-3 might do it. Or if they go to Utah and get blown out, I could see him not returning. Like this is bad.
Which is likely because we don't play well in Utah. Like usually we go out there and we get blown out, or we kind of like make it a game for like 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and then get blown out. So it's not looking too good over there. And also, I want to point out about Tom Thibodeau. Listen, I understand some people, which is a small minority, don't think that it's entirely his fault. Yeah, it might not entirely be his fault, but he's certainly playing a hand onto why this team is performing so badly. Yeah, I also think like I'm gonna put it like this. I feel like he's full of shit at this point because he likes to hold players, quote unquote, accountable for poor performances or lapses on the defensive end and stuff like that. Yet Julius Randle goes out there, he plays some of the most minutes on the team, and the guy gives zero effort at times on the defensive end. He's jogging back instead of sprinting. He constantly falls asleep on that end. He loses his man. They score on him. And yet he continues to stay on the floor and he doesn't bench him, right? But Obi Toppin can't get consistent minutes, even though he's showing effort on the floor. RJ Barrett got benched for the whole, like, what was it, the whole fourth quarter, almost the entire second half. And I get it. He wasn't playing a great game. That's okay. But you're telling me that Julius Randle, who was stinking it up out there, deserved to be on the floor. Evan Fournier, who stunk it up royally, he didn't score no points, no rebounds. He had 2 assists. He shot 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3-point line. And he was just basically doing cardio out there. You're telling me he gets to play 20 minutes? Like, come on. The whole accountability thing with Tibbs is absolute bullshit.
All right, there you
He
go.
doesn't. My bad. He doesn't hold the right guys accountable.
I agree. JFK, did you catch the Knicks and Thunder game yesterday?
No, I caught the end of the game. But shouts out to Shea Alexander-Gilchrist. I don't know what Toronto's gonna do or give up to try and get him back in the six, but it looks like he might not want to be there for too long.
How he completely butchered this guy's name.
Yeah, that was pretty. It's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I did butcher his name.
Yeah,
I got all these names messed up, especially his. But I'll just keep it short. Shea, he needs to go. He needs to find his way to Toronto. I think he's wasting his spot over in OKC. I think what they're building or rebuilding over there doesn't really necessarily require him. But I'm kind of happy that they won because we're starting to see the dying out of Knick fandom. It was a good 3 weeks from the beginning of the season till now, but I think you're going to start seeing the real competitors come into hoop spaces, Chris.
All right. No. The fandom is not dying. Knick fandom is never going to die, whether we suck, whether we're good. It's not going to die. But shout out to Shai. Shout out to Shai because like he completely dominated us and he didn't even break a sweat. Like if you watch the game, it was so effortless. Like he wasn't putting any effort into like his points. Like it was too easy for him.
All right, I've got head coach Mark Daigneault is post game. I want to go ahead and hit that. Now watch an ad probably play. Yeah, it's an ad.
Doc Rivers is the greatest coach ever.
Isn't he though?
Can y'all stop?
Look at him. He got Joel Embiid to drop 59. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, if Joel Embiid can't drop 55 by himself.
Yeah, man. I had it queued up, but then like apparently my YouTube premium membership hasn't kicked in, and so the ad popped up. That's really annoying.
Started at the beginning. Our pace on made baskets was really good. Obviously, we didn't get a lot of stops early, but we kept our foot on the gas and did a really nice job there. And I thought we continued it through much of the game, which is hard to do.
All right, that was head coach Mark Daigneault talking about what they did to basically win, which is random out the building. Jay, the Wakanda tech support, has joined us here on stage. Jay, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Chris. I thoroughly enjoyed Doc Rivers having this moment against Daryl Morey's dream of putting together the Rockets. I appreciate Doc Rivers showing his greatness and telling Daryl Morey, I have won a chip, you have not. We're playing through Joel Embiid.
I like that. I like that a lot. Doc Rivers' greatness was on full display yesterday. As you know, we will get to that game in a moment. I want to welcome everybody down below who's just joined us. If you've missed, we're opening up with the Knicks because that was the matinee game, 145, 135 Thunder over the Knicks. If you could do us the favor, like and retweet the review, the newsletter. If you haven't joined it yet, just put your email in there. It's totally free. If you go into there, you'll see every game recap. So if you happen to miss any of the games, it's there. And you'll also catch a lot of the post-game press conferences, whether it's from players or coaches. So you can click that link and head up over there. We're also going to be able to integrate it with our website as well as we continue to build up and build better. So please come along this journey. Just into your email address. Also up there, there's a couple of polls. Go ahead and engage. Get your questions on. And I want to welcome Ashley Baker of A&B Sports and Sports After Dark here on Spaces. BJ Bass and TJ Kiesel also in the building. And I see our friend Jose, leader of the 77 Spaces with Speak on It, Rolo, and Jazz, the Scissor Sister. Welcome. All right. Next up, if you don't have anything on this Knicks loss, which is really bad. It's so bad. We'll move on to the next one. RJ Barrett, foul trouble early. He was held out for 21 minutes remaining. He got 19 minutes in the game. He was 2 of 10. 2 of 10 from shooting. And he's had this roller coaster ride this season. But I spared him from the Knicks Island vote because, I don't really think it's his fault. Emmanuel Quickley chipped in 24 points. I do want to give him a huge shout out. Emmanuel Quickley's coming up in a lot of trade rumors, and there's been some leaking in the back that he's not necessarily happy with what's going on with his playing time, and believes he might have deserved the opportunity to start. All right, if you want to come on up, raise your hand, like and retweet the newsletter, shoot us a follow, and we'll be good to go. Next up, we'll talk some more basketball about the Cleveland and Minnesota game, where Minnesota needed this win very badly after getting embarrassed. 129-124. D'Angelo Russell kind of bounced back. He really needed it for his confidence. 30 points, 12 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns, 29-13. Rudy Gobert, 15-13. But Anthony Edwards was disengaged once again. 10 points on 5 for 13 and some real bad body language. I don't know how many you caught this game. I did. Darius Garland, 51 points, was absolutely phenomenal without Donovan Mitchell. Karis LeVert had 13. Kevin Love received the start in place of the injured Jared Allen. He had 14. And Evan Mobley, again, a phenomenal game defensively, just can't get engaged on offense. 1 of 4 for only 4 points. So we got the Cleveland Cavaliers and Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll go to JF Cake. JF, go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, I think it's time to we stop calling the Cavaliers contenders just because they got Donovan Mitchell. My bad about the noise. Hold on, Chris. My son is having tummy time, so I gotta leave the room real quick. But
it's all good.
I think it's time that we start calling the Cavaliers contenders. I think they are who they are. They need everybody on that team, and I think they're a little bit too top heavy to make up for anything on the bench. I mean, yeah, Karis LeVert, he did his thing, but that's because he started. It's the first time I realized that Robin Lopez was on the team. Didn't even realize he was on the team until the other day. But I think with the Timberwolves, I don't know. Anthony Edwards might be onto something. I think he's definitely seeing what Jimmy Butler was seeing within the team and in the organization. Yeah, you can go ahead and put together whoever you want, but it's how you putting the product out on the court. And I think his body language does say a lot, and he might be checking out close, maybe even soon. And it's unfortunate because I really thought they're going to have a chance. I'm not sure if it's coaching or whatnot, but I don't know if he's getting the touches that he wants or whatnot. But there's a lot of things to look at. McDaniels, he kind of pedestrian, 31 minutes and 9 points. He really didn't do what he had to do. But also, look, I think that team is probably a couple more games from losing until they implode. But I don't think anything's going to happen. I think they invested too much into this team for anything to be moved. So with that being said, if the Cavaliers are losing a team like that with just no Donovan Mitchell, then I can't really put them in that contender spot because they are who they are with or without Donovan Mitchell.
All right, Jay, go ahead, man.
That is absolutely false. Not only did they not have Donovan Mitchell. They also didn't have Jared Allen. Okay. And that Timberwolves team, a lot of people penciled in for 50 wins. It has not looked that well, but that Cavaliers team proved that the second guard can score 40, 50 on any given night. Donovan Mitchell, we know, can score 40 to 50 any given night. The issue is they're a new team, and they haven't quite figured out how to get Evan Mobley engaged on mismatches on teams that switch everything. And there just doesn't seem to be a plan to get Evan involved. It seems like there are nights where Evan may have a mismatch on the second unit, but there's no thing of, okay, we're going to run this action for Evan. We want him to get, 5 or 6 shots a night from this spot. And I think that's what's holding the Cavs back. But we haven't gotten to 20 games yet. I think the Cavs and JB Bickerstaff are going to figure that out. And once they do, and I also believe they were missing Dean Wade. So technically, this was a Cavs team that was missing 3 starters. The Cavs teams are absolutely a contender, and when healthy, they're the second best team in the East. They're just young. They're just young, and they got to figure it out. Like, once they figure it out, they're going to be tough. They already have the foundations of a really good defense. They just arguably need one more wing piece.
So if they're the second best team in the East, who are they behind?
The Celtics.
So you just completely
Wow.
dumping
I'm
Milwaukee?
Sorry, my fault.
God.
My fault.
No, he's right. He's right.
You
No,
forgot about the Bucks?
the Cavs are the third best team in the East. I forgot about the Bucks. My bad.
How do you
So
forget about the Bucks, bro?
Because Giannis is that mind-meltingly dominant.
Yeah, all right. Jackson State by 40 because I tried,
Bro,
bro.
we had to whoop them and the refs. They called 3 touchdowns just out of spite. Just nasty anti-prime spite, and we still beat them.
Jay, you're a Jackson State alum?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, that video.
So see, he just comes in here and just goes about his own way. Like, what are you doing?
I just didn't know he was a Jay.
Hold this convo another time. Like, we don't need to hear.
I mean, it is Hoops Faces in the SWAC beat 3 Power 5 teams in college basketball. We can talk about that too. We can talk about that too.
We don't need. Well, no, because we don't have enough people up here to rep the MEAC, and I ain't trying to have a one-sided.
Fire it up, Jay State. Fire it up.
All right, so back to Cleveland and Minnesota. As we are here left in shock that you forgot about Giannis. I don't even think they're the third best team.
Who's not the third best team?
Cleveland.
Who's better than Cleveland?
The Raptors.
Philadelphia. Toronto.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
no.
I mean,
Not
they got Doc Rivers.
Come on, man. That is true. They do.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. This man Chris was cooking up some mid, bro. Like
Cooking up nothing but is Philly even like the 5th best team in the East?
Well, actually, if you want to look at it, Philadelphia actually has the second best defense in the East. Right? They've got the best player, maybe not named Giannis, in the East, and he hasn't been healthy and he hasn't been in shape all season. Like, Doc Rivers' greatness has us at 500 without James Harden, and we have a tired, getting back into shape Embiid. So yeah, I put them over Cleveland. Why wouldn't I?
Teams I like more than teams I like more than Philly. Milwaukee, Cleveland, Boston. Actually, that might be the list. Just those 3.
What about Atlanta?
Oh, Atlanta got to throw in there too because they're basically
you hear that? I think that's Alex coming through.
Yeah.
So
Hawks fan TV's somewhere soon coming. But yeah, I'd probably say Philly's like in that mix with Atlanta. I think they're there in that tier.
See, I think what it is people just don't like to admit that Doc Rivers is a great coach. That's all. All right, but back to Cleveland, Minnesota. Anybody got something on that? Because that's what we're talking about. We can always talk about the greatness of Doc Rivers. I'm here for that. But we are talking to Steven now. Steven, what's up? How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Like we 500. We turning it up in Philly.
Yeah, I watched the Cavs versus the Timberwolves yesterday. Uh, like you guys said, we had some key pieces that were out yesterday, and it kind of affected us. But it's still no excuse. Um, we had Darius Garland drop 51, but it still wasn't enough. Just proves we need some more help. And that wing position is like really important. We had 5 people that went 10 points and more throughout the whole game. We shot 45% from the field and over. I think we shot 50% from 3. The Timberwolves just shot better. They were on fire the whole night. Got to give them credit.
Yeah, I definitely do give them credit. They were good. Bench production too was phenomenal from Minnesota. Had a total of 36 points off the bench yesterday.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know the exact numbers.
Let's see. GD Osmond was the only bench player with double figures, and Isaac Okoro actually came through and actually hit a couple of shots. That was amazing because normally he doesn't. Steven, question. You hear us. We're pontificating. Where do you see Cleveland? Are they a top contender in the East?
If I'm being realistic right now, like as much as I want them to be, I feel like we still in that top 6 range. I'm not gonna say we top 3 right now. We still working and gelling together, trying to figure this out. But when it's all said and done, I think we might get the top 3. We might be number 3 or 4.
All right, there you go. Akil, hop in here. What do you think, Cleveland and Minnesota?
Darius Garland is special. I mean, he's been special. I hate supporting Cleveland because being a noted Michigander, I'm anti Dan Gilbert to the day I die. He's an awful human being. But man, Darius Garland's really, really good at basketball. Cleveland's gonna be fine, man. Like they're gonna have Jared Allen, so I'm like, it is one of those things. Minnesota looked good for once. D'Angelo Russell actually finally decided to play basketball, so good for him. And I thought that I think people were like hitting the panic button way too early for Minnesota. Like they added in a huge piece, and they're gonna have to like learn how to defend because everything they did last year basically gets thrown out the window when you add Rudy. So dudes don't know what they look like they're doing, which makes sense. So they'll need time to figure it out. But yeah, it was a solid win, a really good team win. Darius Garland almost kind of like solo took the heart out of Minnesota. Like he was really close to doing that, but it was a fun game to watch. It was really fun.
If they had came back and won, I don't think we're talking the way you are. I think we're talking Chris Finch is out the door.
It's so early. We're not doing a firing.
Well, see, you say that. I talked with Sean with the W about this. Do you know who Minnesota's last coach was?
Flip Saunders' son.
Yeah. Do you know how many games he coached until he was fired?
I don't know, but don't they also have a new regime now? They have
a new GM. They do. They brought in a new guy from the East Coast.
From the Jazz, right? Or maybe from the East Coast. I don't know who it was, but they have a new regime, so I don't think they'd be like that panic. Maybe they would, but who knows?
So he had coached in Minnesota for like a total of, I think it was like 137 games. Yesterday was Chris Finch's 136th game. They both have a below 500 record, and Finch, if you remember, took over in the middle of the season. So he's already been there for 2 conclusions of the season, right? Like this is a league that moves fast. It is not out the realm of possibility that had they lost last night, we wake up with a different mindset about what would happen in Minnesota. Bonkai, hop in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to point out the whole Anthony Edwards thing. So you had mentioned the poor body language and stuff. And I kind of saw it when we played against them last week. You think that's a little bit concerning coming from a player like of his age? You think that can hamper him later on?
I mean, he's getting a rep now. Like, I know that much.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, when eventually, I guess, suppose Minnesota ends up being continues to be a dumpster fire, right? They don't figure it out this season, and eventually he's like, "Yo, like I want to take my talents to a new place, like go to a new team," and like GMs and teams will start looking at his body language and his behavior, and it might hurt him and stuff.
Well, he's got talent, so I don't know how much it hurts him because every coach and every GM will be like, "Well, that's Minnesota. That's not here. Here we have structure. Here we'll have a culture, and all those wonderful buzzwords." Jay, the Wakandan, what are your thoughts on Anthony Edwards?
No.
So close,
I had to
so
unlock my
close.
phone. I had to unlock my phone. I thought I didn't know I was getting called up. My thoughts on Anthony Edwards. I think that Anthony Edwards wants to punk his opponents and dominate his opponents, and he looks at Cat and he doesn't see a teammate that wants to punk and dominate the opponent. And I think that it has been made clear to Ant that Cat is the son of this franchise, and for obvious reasons. I mean, Cat has stuck with this franchise. The franchise has supported Cat through his personal tragedies. So I think that relationship between Cat and this organization, unless Cat wants out, which I can't really see, again, for off the court reasons, I don't think this is going to work. I do think Ant is going to ask out because of Cat. And I think that I don't know how Cat becomes what he needs to become in the locker room with Cat in that locker room. And so I think it's just a bad timing. I think it's a bad fit. I think if Ant gets there first and then Cat, if you swap their experience and their years in the NBA, I think the franchise is at a very different place. But there's some things that Ant needs to work on himself, like his conditioning could be better. Definitely his shot selection at times could be better. And I think what you're seeing is his disgust at the organization saying, well, no, we're going to play through Cat. Cat's going to lead us. And he's like, all right, man, you see a guy who passes out of the post when he has a 6'4" guard on him. If this what we doing, this what we doing, but I ain't with it. And I think Minnesota would be much better served packaging D'Angelo Russell and Ant in a trade and getting pieces back that fit better around Cat. Because this is not going to work long term.
Yeah, it's getting pretty bad. There was one specific action that I would want to actually highlight, but I can't because I can't get my screen to play. He was supposed to do a slip. It looked like they're going to set up a screen with him, and I think it was Kyle Anderson, and then he was supposed to slip, and instead of going to the basket, looked like he just did a simple cut and then went to the perimeter and just kind of sat there. That's just bad language, man. Bad body language, bad communication. Bakari, anything you caught if you watched the Cavs and Minnesota Timberwolves?
Rudy Gobert is him. That's all I have to say.
All right, tacit support for the big Frenchman. We have Chill up here. Chill, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's good? Doing good. How about you?
I'm great, man. Just living the life, watching some good basketball, talking some good basketball. You know how it is.
Yeah, for sure. But last night, we had no I don't even know how we cut it down to like 3 points at one time. I guess Garland was just feeling it, man. He scored 27 points in the fourth quarter. That's insane. But I think the main thing was Jared Allen not being there really hurt us because I feel like if he was in there, we would have won, most likely. Especially if we had a comeback like that and he's in there in the paint, rim protecting. You know what I'm saying? We had a bunch of lapses to where Kevin Love is out there and getting blown by D'Lo and Ant. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I feel like the injuries last night hurt us because I feel like if we had everyone healthy, we would have beat them by like a good margin. But overall, I mean, Minnesota, they just seem off. Like it, Anthony Edwards can't really get in a rhythm. Like even last night, I thought, man, like we don't have, you know, Donovan out there. We don't have Jared Allen out there. I thought Anthony Edwards could just go to the hoop every damn time. But I don't know. It's weird. Like I, they all have like their certain instances to where they like do well in. Like Cat did well in the third quarter. Gobert did good on the boards and dunks and stuff like that, but that's expected. But and D'Lo was the one that popped off. I thought it would be Anthony Edwards, but it was actually D'Lo that really hurt us in the first half, especially. And hopefully we're able to get off this slump as a Cavs fan. Hopefully we're able to get past this. But we got Milwaukee on Wednesday. Hopefully everyone's healthy. But man, we got a rough schedule coming up, man. I'm not excited for that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's gonna be look. It's a tough year when you look at the NBA. We've been kind of fortunate where we kind of had these narratives already cooked in. LeBron was going to take Miami or whatever team he was up to the finals. Steph and the Warriors are going to get to the finals, and then even before that, we had the Spurs run, and like as we enter into like this new era, as the top players of the last 10, 15 years are getting ready to find their way out in the next 2 to 5 years. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of these young up and coming teams start to be able to get some leg room and be able to get up and walk and run, like you saw it last night with Mike Brown in Sacramento as well. And Cleveland fits that. I don't know if Cleveland currently constructed, even if they are healthy though, is quite ready. But the one thing that I do know is Darius Garland is legit after a couple of years of a lot of people thinking he was not going to pan out to be anything. And we've already seen what Donovan Mitchell's done. It's going to be interesting to see because I want to know between those two, Chill, and say Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, who do you think is the better backcourt?
As of right now, as far as like defense and offense, I would go with Trae and Murray has the edge, and especially with defensively, But as far as offensive firepower, I think DeJounte Murray, he's a good scorer. Don't get me wrong, but I think Mitchell can stress the defense, like the defense a little bit more, with his 3-point shooting. So I think they have the slight advantage in offense, but Darius Garland got to step up, man. I know what D Mitch is going to bring you, but you got to have Darius go along with you. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we're able to get that settled out. But man, we got these next 5 games, man. We gotta win. We gotta win, bro. I was really upset what happened with the Clippers and the Kings game, but I mean the Warriors lost to the Kings yesterday, so it's not really that big of a shocker. They're a good team, but it's just like we got to get ready for this road trip, and we need a wing. We need a wing. I feel like that was the biggest thing we're missing right now, and Kobe Altman should be on calls to try to trade for somebody because this is kind of it's getting bad at the small forward position right now. You got Karis LeVert guarding a 6'9" Harrison Barnes, guarding a 6'8" Andrew Wiggins. Like it's not fun, and it's not good for his long-term durability, in my opinion.
Well, don't worry. Harrison Barnes is definitely not 6'9".
6'8". It felt like it. Karis LeVert was on him. Shoot, Karis LeVert is not the it's not the biggest guy in the world. So like, he's out here getting bumped in the paint and stuff like that. Freaking just out here just getting bodied. I mean, I know he's a good defender and tries very, very hard, but it's like, bro, like the course of an 82 game season, bro, you got to guard like PG and LeBron on a back-to-back. That's insane. That's insane. We can't. That doesn't equal long-term success, man. In my opinion.
All right, JF, go ahead and hop up in here. Then we'll go to Bankai and Jalen Wakandon.
Yeah, Chris, I know they were without Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell, but when you really look at it, like again, they still need a wing, and I think that's what killed them last night. They weren't able to get out there and create any shots or defend whatsoever, especially when you're going against a team. Even if you have Jared Allen out, you still got Kevin Love, who I still kind of like, even playing the 4 or 5 position. He still, puts up his numbers, 14 points. Like, I'll still take that. 5 rebounds, I'll take that. But Evan Mobley, how is he only scoring like 4 points? That's what I'm questioning. And you asked that question, who would be the better backcourt between DeJounte and Trey and Darius and Donovan? I would say Darius and Donovan, just because not only does Donovan have the experience of scoring and the playoffs, but also Darius, he's still doing what he has to do. And then they have the complementary pieces for Evan Mobley and with Jared Allen. So I would definitely say that backcourt. But again, if one player sits from the Cavs and it's one of their star players, then they're gonna have a long, long night because they need everybody to go ahead and be contenders. If not, they're looking like about the 6, 7 seed.
All right, Bankai, pick it up.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna ask a stupid question. Has Anthony Edwards dunked yet or no?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Oh, he finally did?
Yes, he did. Yes, yesterday he did.
Oh,
I
about
think it's on a
time.
backdoor cut. Yep, he got up there for sure.
Oh, good question, Bankai. Jay.
I don't know if points production matters for the Cavs wings if they can figure out a way to get Mobley and Allen to score 16 points a game. And with the way Garland and Mitchell should be able to stress a defense on a pick and roll, with Dean Wade, who's a capable shooter, I think that's possible. And so I think the wing production is overblown because I think Okoro would sleep a lot better at night if the Cavs told him, we just need you to be a defender instead of figuring out a way to get us 10 points a game. Because he just looks overmatched, and he looks at times like he's overthinking when he's on the court on the offensive end. He looks much more comfortable on defense.
All right, I can see that. I think the problem with Evan Mobley offense is he just doesn't want to shoot. that's what I see. I thought in going into year 2, we would see kind of like him try to work out to 16 to 18 feet to get that maybe closer to the baseline, draw out the defender, open up, driving lanes for Donovan and Karras. I thought that they would work him into some high post action so that they could take advantage of some mismatches against 4s and 3s, and that you possibly would be able to see like a couple of backdoor cuts, and he'll get that pocket pass in, and like we just haven't, and we might have to just take a break and take a pause because we have to understand bigs usually take the longest to develop, and it might just take an extra couple of years. And I think we might have given him a little bit of undue expectations coming into a sophomore year after a good rookie year. Same thing with Scotty Barnes too, right? Like he's not taking the step that everybody just assumed that he was going to take, and we have to remember that sometimes these things just take time. Bakari, go ahead, Jay.
Well, Scotty hadn't been healthy all year. Scotty hadn't been healthy, so I don't. And then the way their rotation is and the load that Scotty has to carry on that offense, I don't know when Scotty's going to get healthy. But I know that's a big caveat for Scotty is that he hasn't been healthy all year. So, yeah.
All right. Chris Silva made history in the G League. He was the first player in G League history to record 27 points, 15 boards, 7 assists, and 4 steals in 35 or fewer minutes. Let that sink in. That's dope. But it's also a joke to anybody who's a Miami Heat fan because Chris Silva cannot do that for them. Bakari, hop in here, and then we'll go to Jared.
I was gonna talk about. I liked how you mentioned about Evan Mobley, how he needs to work on his just basically offensive like role. Like he's an amazing defender, but if the Cavs really want to be like the top team, like top 2 in the whole NBA, if Evan Mobley just gets a decent 3-point shot, because I've seen him in the Celtics game that he played us, where he was taking a lot of corner threes, and I like that because That's just helping him like getting confidence and stuff like that. So if he just starts getting like just a corner three a game, like two corner threes, maybe like a mid range shot or something like that, like I would definitely have him like he's definitely gonna be like a vital piece to any like championship team because like his defense is already there. If he just gets a few like offensive like bursts, spurts, like instead of like what I'm saying, that's just gonna be great for them, And I'm scared because if that actually happens, like we're not beating them. I don't think we're gonna beat them because without Rob, we already struggled without Rob. So that's all I gotta say.
All right, cool. Jared, appreciate you coming up. I see Cleveland Avi up there. All right, you're feeling pretty down after the loss, right? But you take heart in the fact that you didn't have two of your starters plus a main contributor in Dean Wade. Your thoughts on yesterday's game?
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely believe that if we have Jared Allen, we definitely win that game because it was just tough for Evan to have to deal with Cat and Gobert because he was not getting any help from our fours, whoever we had out there. So, Kevin doesn't play defense at this point in his career. He just takes charges, but that's okay because he's normally a flamethrower on offense. But as far as Evan's offense, I feel like he has taken a step forward. The problem is that you're kind of on the right track with that. Him not wanting to shoot. It's more of him not really demanding the ball enough because at times he needs to be like that third scoring option because the way he's played, the way he showed like stretches where he can score. He needs to demand the ball more. Like when sometimes he's playing fourth or fifth fiddle out there at times and. Depending on who's out there between Karras and Kevin Love. And I just think that if we get the ball to him in his spots, it'll be a little bit easier for him to shoot that ball. Because when we get it to him in like the lower or even in the high post, he does do this nice little fadeaway. He also has got a nice little spin move down there in the post as well that he's developing. And part of that is the offensive structure of the Cavs. We don't really have a good offensive structure. It's basically like I love the way he handles the locker room. He's a good defensive coach, but our offensive plays are very lackluster, and we sometimes just rely on our playmakers. Like that's why you see LeVert in the starting lineup over more defensive minded like Dean Wade or Lamar Stevens because JB knows that his offense is kind of lackluster, so he tries to put the best playmakers on the court around his guys to lead to offense, just hoping that their playmaking ability leads to points. And that's kind of up to the playmakers to make sure they get Evan the ball, but also JB as the coach has really got to make sure that they get Evan the ball in his spots because that's where he is right now in his offensive game. He's not a guy that's going to be able to create for himself like a lot of the other young players. So that's what I've seen from this team so far. But thanks for letting me speak.
Absolutely, Jared. I kind of agree. I think he should, request the ball more. But I also think, much like that new wave of positionless basketball sweeping the nation, apparently so is hesitancy in scoring. As now several young players seem to have taken a back seat and trying to get their other teammates involved a little bit more. We got almost 5 minutes to the top of the hour here, and I just wanted to share this bit with you. Nobody has milked Christmas more in the last 20 years than Mariah Carey. And I'm sorry that y'all have to hear it. The shit's overrated. Like, it's just overrated. The song itself is bad. It's a extended Macy's commercial jingle, and like nobody has benefited from it except for Mariah Carey over like 20 plus years of one song. It's like Michael Jackson level overrated here, and I just want y'all to know that. We're joined on stage by Mark Edwards, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. Like, I'm good. I am fortifying myself against the onslaught that is Christmas. It is here. Like, people, I almost cursed. People were putting lights up 2 weeks ago. Trees are coming up. And, like, now people are playing Christmas music nonstop. And I cannot escape this Mariah Carey thing. And it's just bad.
Yeah,
It's
she's
just
been making
bad.
money off Christmas for way too long. I'm tired of that album. I'm tired of her. Mimi, go home.
Thank
Please,
you.
Mimi, go home.
See, I'm not the only one, people. It's not a crazy conspiracy.
She's so
It's
corny.
over.
She's so corny. I
I can't. Yeah, I know. Exactly. And then
Chris,
people,
that's Doc Rivers' favorite song.
no, it's not.
oh hell no.
No, it's not. It's not. I already know that that's just a bad joke. All right. You can go anywhere you want, Mark. Lots of basketball over the weekend. We're just focusing really on last night. We have the Knicks nicking in a spectacular fashion. We've got Minnesota rebounding and still that team, man. And Edwards is something else. And then we still got Philly's, domination of the Utah Jazz through the greatness of Doc Rivers. Where you want to go?
I don't want to touch none of them. You know what I got smoked for. Okay? You know what I got smoked for. I got smoked for all these wannabe Golden State Warriors fans. Okay, so, and I'm going to say this blatantly and disrespectfully. You are not a fan of your team if you criticize them when they're down. You're not a fan. You're a fanatic. You're an idiot. Like, it makes no sense. And here's the problem I'm having. So, what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a lot of fool's gold in the NBA. And let me break it down for you. This time last year, Washington was a front runner in the East. This time last year, the Celtics were not. How quickly does it change? Changes very quickly. Now, the simple understanding I put up last week about the NBA and its season and scheduling is that the players, the teams, and so forth, back in the days, well, I'm not going to say back in the days, just some years ago, before the world went into chaos, whether with COVID and all these other things, um, the NBA season would start around Halloween and after. Okay, it was October 31st and thereon. That meant the NBA teams usually had around 5 to 6 weeks to prepare. You had camp, you had a long camp. It was a good thing because guys got to get their chemistry. You had 10 preseason games. Now there's only 5. And in those 5 preseason games, the first unit or whatever, they really only get to play together for probably around 6 or 7 quarters. Probably 7 quarters together. You got new guys you're trying to acclimate. A lot of those guys are still celebrating winning a championship and so forth. And now we come back. Oh, okay, my fault. Klay Thompson didn't play basketball all summer. You know why? Because the guy's been out almost 3 years. So he didn't want to pick up an injury playing pickup ball where he's making $40+ million a year. He tried to be responsible. So now he's not in basketball shape. I was in Orlando for almost 2 weeks. When Golden State was there, I usually go to the games 2 hours early and I watch the players. So what I do is I watch their individual workouts before they come out and do layup line and so on and so forth. What the individual workouts do before the game is it gives you an idea what the team, what kind of shots the team wants him to take, what are his favorite shots, what shots he can hit, and you'll see guys run off 20, 30, 40 shots in a row sometimes, depending on who it is. Klay Thompson is the archetype of shooting. He is the guy. There is no technical shooter better in the NBA history than Klay Thompson. He can shoot off the dribble. He can shoot off the catch. He can rhythm into his shot 1-2, meaning left leg, right leg, left leg, whatever. He can hop into a shot. You know what I'm saying? He can plant one leg and catch and shoot in rhythm. When he shoots the ball never comes below his chest area. If he catches at his face, it goes up at his face and higher. He is the most amazing shooter in NBA history. Now Steph is the greatest shooter, but technically, Klay Thompson, his form, his function, everything, perfect. He's amazing. He's not in shape though. So they're expecting this guy who's not in shape, who didn't have a real preseason, who didn't play all summer, to come in and kill. They expect this Golden State team, which right now is one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, to defend. while they're still playing young guys, trying to develop them and so forth. People complain about, oh, you shouldn't try to develop young guys. You need to just win, play to win. Well, you have an older team. Your best player is an older player, and you can't play him 40 minutes a game. This is not the old NBA where the best players usually played 40 minutes a game. Steph's going to play 34 minutes, 35 minutes at the max. You know what I'm saying? It's a different time. So I just don't, the unreal expectations you have of these players, it just doesn't make sense. I read one article, one tweet today where a guy said Jordan Poole, he doesn't move without the ball. Golden State's entire offense is moving without the ball. Golden State offense is the exact offense that Mike D'Antoni had running with the Phoenix Suns in the early 2000s. And if you remember, a lot of people don't remember because they're too young, D'Antoni actually left the Suns because Steve Kerr was a GM and he brought Shaq in, and the system did not work with Shaq.
I remember that.
Big.
That was
People don't remember
hilarious.
that. Now, Steve Kerr became a head coach, and guess what he does? He takes D'Antoni's offense, which is factual, he says so. He talks about it. He takes D'Antoni's offense, he puts in some similarities of the triangle offense, and what he learned from Pop's offense or whatever, and now he has this. And they're saying the guy doesn't move without the ball. The whole offense is moving without the ball. When he's on the ball, the young guys don't know how to move without the ball, so he gets accused of over dribbling. Now he's a bad defender. It's so much nonsense out there in an early NBA season, and it tends to bother me because if you look back traditionally, historically, the NBA, the season, the players, they're not all the way in shape and really game and playoff type ready until Christmas, which is why Christmas Day game days are so huge. But we have a fan base that is so starved for competitive basketball that they'll just create a narrative and run it into the ground. And that's the only thing that despises me right now. I'm the basketball Grinch today. That's just what I am. Damn Mariah Carey, her music. I'm the basketball Grinch.
I feel you. The only problem I have is it doesn't really correlate with the drop in defense though. Like that's the only thing I cared about. I agree with you. They're not in shape. They'll be in shape by Christmas, but there's like this broken Bermuda Triangle-esque area of defense that Draymond Green can no longer make up for, is what I see. What are your thoughts?
Think about what he said. He just did an interview, and he talked about the teams making runs on them. When that first unit is out there, they'll create leads. When the second unit comes in, and there's not that correlation, that stickiness or whatever, those leagues drop. They drop because the guys you're bringing in are younger guys, and they don't necessarily know how to defend at that high level, and they're just not doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm also going to say it, like a couple of guys on the Warriors team are injured. They're just not disclosing it to the public because they want to play through it, because they know if they disclose it, oh man, you make too much money. Oh man, suck it up. Stop complaining. Don't, so it's a lose-lose situation. At the end of the day, we saw a Houston Rockets team back in the days with Hakeem Olajuwon. What did they finish when they won those championships? Did they finish first in the West back then? Never.
No.
Yeah. So if you're smart, it's okay to finish third or fourth in the West and still come out of it, because all you really care about is that home record. You know what I'm saying? You all you got to do is steal one game on the road and win your games at home. So playoff basketball is set up correctly for teams that have veteran players and can make it to the playoffs and be healthy and have their rhythm and everything going. This team just does not have it right now defensively, and it's because they tried to play those younger players. Now, last game they cut their rotation to 8 or 9 players, but it's still not there yet. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Kerr wants to put those guys out there full time to play a bunch of minutes just to get that right when they know that they can make it up in the second half of the season. That's my opinion, and that's some of the things I've been told. So I mean, I get it, but also think about this. Look at this. The Boston Celtics are one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA right now. And if you look at it, you'll see it. How many points they're giving up per game? They're giving up 114 points a game. That's not Boston Celtic defense, is it? But they're scoring 119, almost 120 points a game. And that's why they're winning. The Golden State Warriors just haven't caught up. Their offense hasn't caught up yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a funny season. You know what I'm saying? And we're looking at all these teams that weren't supposed to do well. They're doing well. Let's see if they do that come playoff time. Let's see if the Utah Jazz could be this team in the playoffs when the playoffs start.
Oh, yeah, to answer your question earlier, I think they were fifth or sixth. I was trying to remember. I'm on the computer, but I'm not looking anything up. I'm actually using it to message people back and forth. But like I remember for a fact that they weren't even expected to make it out the first round.
Exactly. So this is the thing I have. When you have a team with veterans, you cannot run them into the dirt. You can't play them a lot early. You got to let them take their time, get in shape. Shaquille O'Neal, personal friend. I remember going to his house one time after they won the championship. He had his foot was hurt. I was like, yo, why ain't you having surgery? He's like, I ain't gonna do the Shaquille impression. I'm not. I can't do it. He basically was like, I got hurt on company time. I'm gonna get bit on company time, not on my time. This is the vacation. I'm gonna enjoy my vacation with my wife and family, my kids, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they end up winning the championship again that coming year because he had surgery as soon as he got back. You know what I'm saying? Sat out, worked his way into shape in time for the playoffs, carried them in the championship series. Simple. But people expect these supermen, and it's just not realistic. I'm sorry, folks. It's just not.
All right, appreciate it. We're going to bring Malaya up here. She is a Golden State Warriors fan. If you are a Warriors fan and you want to come on up, now's the time to raise your hand. Do us the favor, like and retweet the review. It's the newsletter. And if you don't watch every game because you can't, you should think about actually signing up for it. It's 100% free. Just throw your email up there. You'll never miss any of the action. Recap every single game so you can stay in the know. All right, Malaya, good morning. We'll go ahead and let you respond first before I do a reset and welcome everybody. What are your thoughts on what Mark said about the Warriors?
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, because sometimes, the thing don't work. Okay, Air Max, I see you. Anyways, with your Bills, don't make me go there. Because that game was crazy. No, I'm sorry, Chris don't like football. Let me stop. Okay. Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to do that. But, he was cracking up. I see you, Air Max. I see you. Anyways, I know we struggling, but I don't like to hit him with the struggle. So I get what he said. I agree with what he says. We will be back, and I get with Clay. He didn't participate, that much in the off season with scrimmages and everything and preseason. So it's probably going to take him some time to get in full rhythm than the other people that's on the team. I know some players that were somewhat hurt. All I heard was like in the past couple weeks of DiVincenzo and Iguodala being hurt, but I think we're gonna bounce back. But anyways, Air Max. Who's this Air Max joker, Chris?
Why are you worried about that? Like, just say what you have to say about the Warriors.
Okay.
Don't worry about what Max is
I'm
doing up there.
I really come up here. I wanted to defend one thing, Chris. I don't get why you're hating on Mariah Carey.
I'm not hating on Mariah Carey.
No more Christmas albums.
Oh
like,
my God!
All we're doing is providing you with like reasonable objectivity.
Okay, but nothing wrong with All I Want for Christmas. That's a hit. So
it actually is not a hit. Like it's just
a hit. That's the greatest.
Okay, I'm sorry. When is it ever played outside of Christmas?
Okay, not Well,
I
yeah,
mean, I
true.
don't never hear
But that
Silent Night
was
by
a
the
hit though.
Temptations out of
Other
Christmas.
than Run DMC.
Yo, I got
Now
an
that
idea. Lock up
okay?
Chris in a room. Lock up Chris in a room and just play "All I Want for Christmas" for like a week straight and feed him French
No,
fries.
See,
no.
and
Yeah,
see,
I'd rather
you
play Michael
his ears will
Jackson
bleed.
while I'm torturing
see,
Chris.
but
While I'm
I
trying to
look, Baka, I
torture
already,
Chris, I'd
I
rather
have
play
training
Michael
for that, bro.
Jackson.
Like the
Thank you,
government,
though.
the government paid for really expensive training. I partook in that training. You could lock me in a room with that song on for a week, and I would tune it out.
See, I wouldn't torture Chris with Mariah. I'll torture him with Michael Jackson, and then
I
I'll
thought we
bring
was
some like
talking about Golden
food
State.
that he don't like.
See that
Hold
Nat,
up,
see
Nat.
Nat
I'm
is
not.
Nat seeing that. See, we're
Hold
Nat's
up,
keeping
Nat.
us
Hold
up
up, hold up. I'm
on
gonna let you
top.
talk, girl. I'm gonna let you
What do
talk.
you mean? Hold up! Like you was done. You
No,
were
I wasn't
done.
done.
You
Okay, my
started
last
talking about
point.
Mariah.
I came up here talking about, yes, I wanted to defend Mariah because nothing wrong with All I Want for Christmas, okay? I'm just telling you, nothing wrong with that song.
Like literally, the question was, what do you have for the Warriors? And you up here like Mariah. What do you have for the Warriors?
See, I didn't want to come here talking about my Warriors because I know we took an L. That's why. I didn't want
That's
to come
right.
because
Give
everybody be
her,
like, your team took an L. We
give
took
her a
an L
round
to
of applause.
Sacramento. That's not going to ever get to the playoffs.
You
That's
took
why I
the
didn't come up here
L.
because we took a dang L to Sacramento. And somehow we always play a close dang game against Sacramento and we should annihilate.
There
That's
you
why.
go. Thank
Okay?
you. Thank you. How hard was
Okay?
that?
We should annihilate them all the time.
But you didn't. You lost.
Yes, I know.
122
Yes, I know. Yes, I know, Chris.
to
Ooh,
to
Lord.
115.
Lord.
All
Okay,
right, let me get some other people up in here, my lady. Thank you for stopping
Chris.
by and taking this
I
out.
will cook you one day. It will be y'all Air Max over there. I see you, Air Max. Okay, but I agree on your point, Mark Ed. Okay, I agree on your point. Okay,
Mark
how you doing, girl? Nat?
I ain't even a
Hey,
Buffalo
Jay.
fan,
What
dog.
kind of are y'all?
You got
Jose,
me all
all
my
my
way
people.
messed up today.
All right, I'm gonna hit this button. It's
Is
time.
this
Here we go again.
oh my God, is this
This
Lord?
this
I'm
is
thinking
something
this some
else.
dude that I don't even know. Don't Lord.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, and Mondays were made for greatness. Greatness, like Doc Rivers. So make sure you say no to loose floppy bread. Pancakes are not for greatness. That is not great. Not great. Just a hair above, human pet food. Just a hair above. Like that's your only silver lining with pancakes. However, if you're looking for a silver lining about basketball, I've got one for you. And it's brought to you by our sponsor, Slam Goods. What is Slam Goods, you ask? Well, you haven't because everybody's on mute. I'm asking for you. Slam Goods is the online marketplace for Slam Magazine, which became Slam Online. Head over there and use promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15% off of your entire purchase site-wide. You can pick up Funko Head bobbles, those Funko Head collectible bobblehead thingies. Pick up the Rewind series with Kobe. They have one with T-Mac, AI, Vince Carter. Relive the history of the game that you enjoy from when you were younger, right? 15% promo code HoopSpaces. Save yourself a couple of bucks and get yourself a proper cup of coffee. We have Nat up here, Mark Edwards up here, Jay the Wakandan, Steven, Bonkai, Cash, a.k.a. Air Maxi, and we are on the Warriors real quick. Joel Embiid dropped 59 points last night in the win, 105-98. Sixers over the Jazz, so we want to give him a point and a round of applause. And ladies and gentlemen, I said it again, and I will repeat myself one more time. The 76ers have the second best defense in the Eastern Conference, and that's due to the greatness that is Doc Rivers. We'll say good morning to Nat, then we'll head over to Cash, and we'll bring back Mark Edwards, everybody, of Monstar Labs. Good morning, Nat. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. People gotta stay on topic, man. I don't know what's going on. We was talking about Golden State, and then all of a sudden Mariah Carey was brought up. I don't get it. I don't understand what happened. Don't nobody care about Mariah Carey right now. I don't understand it. Forget that song. But anyway, back to the Golden State Warriors. I also think that added on to what Mark was saying, I think that the issues also with them, that little scuffle that they had, I think is bothering them more than they like to lead on. I see some chemistry issues. I see that they're just off, and it's not Golden State of old. These are the same players. They've been playing together for the longest, and they look disconnected. So I think that there are some other issues there. Obviously we'd like to see the young guys play a lot of high picks, and they're not really running out there. So I don't know. I think that they have some underlying issues that they need to resolve before they get back to where they were and where they can be and who we know that they are. So Golden State, they're gonna struggle. I think Steph Curry is amazing. We all know that. His ability to just elevate every time he's carrying, and I hope that it turns into more wins, and they actually get things on track. But I think that this has to do with a mental aspect of it, and what they need to have like a come to Jesus moment, as people say, and actually sit down around a table and say, okay, how do we work this out as a team, and what's going on. Other than that, I think they're going to struggle for the rest of the year if they don't do stuff like that. So that's what I see for Golden State.
Wow, they're going to struggle for the rest of the year?
Hell yeah, they're gonna struggle for us. If you disconnected with your teammates, right, Chris? If you're disconnected, y'all are not playing Warriors basketball. How are you going to get it together all of a sudden if y'all are just not connecting? How?
I don't have an answer for that.
And what I mean by struggle doesn't mean they're not gonna make the playoffs. That nobody said that they're gonna make the playoffs, but a disconnected team like the Warriors making the playoffs, what does that spell, Chris? It spells trouble.
Well, now they ain't even in the play-in.
There you go. So, all right. I'm being nice then. All right.
That's scary. Cash, good morning, bro.
Yo, Chris, what's going on, man? I seen Mark, and I know, look, he just put his hands up.
He's ready. Mark. He's ready.
Yeah, 59 points for that fat ass, huh? Out of shape. 59 whole fat ass points. I love it, Mark.
How many blocks did he have?
About 7 of them.
Man, get out of here with that nonsense.
Did he have like 7 blocks?
Man, get out of here, man.
I'm dead ass.
Man, stop playing.
He was blocking shit left and right. I think he had about 3 or 4 just in the Chris. Am I mistaken?
You are not mistaken.
Jesus Christ. What a fat
7 blocks.
Ass. What a fat ass. I'm not trying to body shame, though. I'm sorry if you're fat or if you're big. My apologies. But yeah, Chris, I think the Warriors really missing Otto Porter. And I agree with Nat. I think that fight messed up a little bit of the camaraderie and the chemistry, and like Steph Curry's really trying to lead the team, but he's never really been a leader. We need Draymond Green to bring this team back together and reconcile the differences. Maybe he should just shoot a fair one with Jordan Poole just to get it over with.
Okay, we're gonna stop. We gotta stop. We gotta stop that. What I do? We gotta stop this nonsense, bro. Like,
all right, what happened, Mark? Chime in.
First off, let's be clear. Joel Embiid had 2 block shots yesterday. All right, we're gonna say that.
We're talking about Golden State, Mark. What happened?
He had 2. No, we got to make sure we touch
all
on
over the board.
No. I want to clarify. He had 2 block shots because I know you.
But 2 blocks is good, Mark. What you mean?
Yes, average. Okay, so I've said for years, Joel Embiid is a stat stuffer, empty stats. Unless you win, them stats mean nothing. Okay, so now they're not shooting.
He has 7 blocks though. Hold on, are we mistaken?
Do that in the playoffs though.
Mark. Is it 2 blocks or 7 blocks? First of all, we gotta get this.
Let Mark reply. You keep asking him to reply, and y'all keep cutting him off.
But he cut me off, and I just gotta cut him off right back. It's just a conversation, ping pong. We call it ping pong. Mark, it was 7 blocks, not 2.
It was 2 blocks.
It was 7.
It was 7 blocks. It was 7 blocks last night. But to be fair, 3 of those blocks kind of like ran into him. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
The ball ran right into his hand, and his hand like.
Oh, hey, I'm not here saying anything other than he had 7 blocks. But if
Yeah,
you
go on,
watch the
Mark.
game,
No.
there were 3 of them that just ran into him.
No, he's correct. I was looking at the wrong stats. You're right.
All right, cool, Mark. Just
It
we on
was
the
seven.
same
It was
page.
seven.
Come
It was
on.
it was
Still
5
sharp and
lucky
still, Mark.
blocks
Still sharp
and
and
2
still.
legit blocks.
It was about 7 of them, but still sharp and still. Carry on.
Yeah, but this Golden State team that you're talking about, man, literally still trying to celebrate that championship as a team, as a family. Yeah, they did have the little scuffle or whatever, but they're past that. If you watch Draymond and Jordan when they're on the floor together, there is no love lost as far as the ball moving. Draymond still, dropping dimes on DHOs and setting solid screens for him. He's still cutting to the basket. The movement is still there. The problem is the second unit does not know how to move. Now, Nat, you spoke about those young guys being high picks. Okay, so let's talk about their games individually. Moses Moody is a catch and shoot guy, and he's not that great of a catch and shoot guy. He's someone who's going to give you hustle points. You can't really recall what his go-to move is because he doesn't have one yet as a pro. Kuminga does not know how to play basketball yet, and this is his 3rd year playing professionally, not his 2nd. It's his 3rd. He played a year in the
He don't even know how to play like basketball at all.
Yes, no. He doesn't know how to play within the system. You know what I'm saying? Like how to be a plug and play guy, which is plug your offense into whatever the system is. You can see him go off script a lot of times on offense. Like he'll just get the rebound, just go. That's not what they do in Golden State. You get the rebound, you pass it up, and you sprint the lanes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The only person that really is allowed to do that as a big really is Draymond. He makes good decisions in that regard. Now, and you're talking about Patrick Baldwin. He's a catch and shoot guy as well, who shot a very low percentage in college, and as a high school player was ranked top 5 his whole high school career. And we never saw him have a 30-point game in AAU basketball ever in life. Never. So you're talking about guys who are developing guys. So they're trying to give them playing time because as a franchise,
don't forget about Wiseman. Talk about him too.
He didn't play basketball for we're talking about 2.5 years almost. He played his senior year. He didn't play his freshman. He didn't play his first year in college. Really, he played 3 games or so forth.
Yeah, he played 3, and then he was ruled
sounds like
ineligible.
a shit show in Golden State.
So then his first year in the league, he got hurt or whatever, and then he didn't play much his second year at all. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't played basketball in 2.5 years. I mean, really, it takes a while. If you look at the Greek Freak, you look at Giannis. He came in the league and he didn't play well until his 4th year.
Can I ask you a question, Mark, real quick?
Yes.
It sounds like the Warriors didn't pick Warriors-type players in the draft. They just picked the best available talent.
They should have taken LaMelo Ball. Is that what you're saying, Fav?
That's not even LaMelo Ball. It just sounds like you got players that are individually good if they were by themselves or other team that doesn't play within the frames of an offense that can play your script, and not players that is literally for your offense.
That's because
Moses Moody shooters and Patrick Baldwin sounds like Warrior players because they could catch and shoot, but the other players don't sound like Warrior type players, especially Wiseman, because if Steve Kerr using Mike D'Antoni offense, Wiseman definitely does not fit.
No, he kind of fits because he's not immobile like Shaq. So that was the issue with D'Antoni and Kerr when Kerr was GM at Phoenix and he brought Shaq in. Wiseman is supposed to be that big that can sprint the floor, can knock down the mid-range jump shot, and can finish alley-oops and so forth. He's trying to mimic the Amari Stoudemire because if you think back, Stoudemire was always a power forward. He played center for Phoenix, and he dominated that year playing with them. I think he averaged like 26 points a game.
Yeah, the biggest issue is he's just not getting time.
Yeah, and he needs time to develop. If you look at his body, you look at his game, he's not really that smooth yet. Like he doesn't play through contact yet. There's a lot of things that need to be added to his game, and it's gonna take time.
So let's just tell the truth then. Let's just put the monkey out of the room. They need to make trades. It's simple.
No. Because
it's very simple.
No.
You hold on, Mark. You're saying
Fat man, you ain't never lied, bro.
Hold on. You're saying all of these things that
you guys are anarchists.
Hinder. You're saying all these things that maybe hinders Steph Curry repeat or getting more championships within his time frame of his prime years, because I think Steph Curry's in the prime of his career right now.
See, the problem is you keep saying, people like in this argument keep saying they need to make trades. What trade they gonna make?
But you got assets. What trade you
like
what
who?
trade are you gonna make?
Yeah, give
Like,
him a trade, Fat Man.
the
Give him a trade
problem,
right now.
no, the problem that we have is then you have to have Golden State being willing to add one of their big contracts into this trade to get anybody of respective value, right?
But they're not.
And they're not going to get anybody of respective value. So if you're going to trade Wiseman, you're now admitting that you're going to trade at a loss because you're not going to get respective value because he only makes $9 million. So what is your trade? Like, for the people who want to make this argument that they need to make a trade, give us the trade.
Danny Green for
See, like Jay,
Green.
I'm gonna give you the point.
Championship experience.
He's coming in with the troll answer, Mark.
For why?
What about Miles Turner?
I want Miles
Danny
Turner.
Green.
I was just about to say Miles
And we'll
Turner,
take
but
James
Miles
Wiseman
Turner.
off your hands.
So
No, I
for
want Miles Turner.
so for the Miles Turner and for Buddy Hield, you're gonna end up taking 2 years, $48 million with Buddy Hield, and Miles Turner is gonna go ahead and request the max. They're not gonna max him. So, like, are you really going to give up your young talent, which is going to be the anchor for another 4 or 5 year run and stuff
really
to get one season?
That's the question. Do you really believe that Wiseman, Kuminga is your anchors for the next 5 to 7 years right now? Do you?
Yes.
Yeah, so that means that you're going nowhere fast, respectfully. I'll go back.
Well, I'm not a Warriors fan, so I'm going to be fine. But if you don't think that they can't develop, that's your issue, not mine. Like, I haven't seen Golden State fail to develop their players. I haven't seen the Spurs fail to develop their players. And if you look at teams,
Golden State, literally.
So what's going on with Moody and Kuminga?
I'm trying to.
They're developing. You just don't like what it looks like.
What is developing?
So if you look at OKC back in the days, you know, that young team, you know, they had the young players come up and so forth, but they were surrounded by a bunch of veterans who supported them. You know what I'm saying? And those guys were superstars. KD was a superstar. You know what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook was a defensive demon. James Harden was an offensive animal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about Kuminga, who's really trying to figure out how to play the game. Moody is a catch and shoot guy. Ball was the catch and shoot guy. You know, you still got those 3 guys right there. They need 3-4 years to develop and be comfortable in that offense because there's a lot of movement going on that they just don't have naturally. So it's gonna take time. You know, but here's the thing. What I think Golden State is doing. Hold on, let me say something. What I think Golden State is doing is they don't want to be the franchise that becomes a dynasty and then completely falls off for 10 years because the fan base is not going to like it. First of all, they didn't win. It took them how many years to win a championship? 30 plus, almost 40 years to win a championship in between championship runs or whatever. The fans aren't going to deal with that again. Think about it. Name all the dynasties and then talk about the droughts they had in between dynasties. San Antonio, the Bulls, the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? Dynasties. And look at the droughts.
Real quick,
Golden State Warrior fans aren't going to go for that, especially with social media being up, in my opinion.
Mark, real quick, Mark. The difference between them young players on OKC and these Golden State players is one team went to a chip, never won it, so it was nothing to feel entitled about. These young niggas want a championship. They feel entitled.
But all 3 of those guys were top 5 picks.
Yeah, and then they won a champion. Look, here go the ill thing. Wiseman number 2, Kuminga number 7, Moses Moody lottery. End of the lottery.
Bust.
At the end, I'm not saying they're bust. They're just not. How can I say? I don't think Wiseman's full potential will ever be reached with Golden State.
But he hasn't played though. That's not fair, Fat Man. You know, Fat Man. Hold on, Fat Man. You're a
played
49
LaMelo, and it's coming back to haunt them right now.
You're a bad.
He's played 49 games, y'all, for his career. What are we doing here? 49 games. That's the amount of games Wiseman has played for his career. How can you make a determination who he is in his game in 49 games? Because if you can, then every NBA GM should hire you immediately, pay you about $500,000. Because that would be some advanced level scouting. And like, trust me, I've sat and scouted, bro. That's a hard ass job. And you gonna tell me that Wiseman is done
I
and
didn't say
can't
he's
meet
done.
his
I
potential
said
after
he's not
49
going to
games?
reach his full
Did he go
potential
State
with the
give him a
Warriors.
chance?
Do anybody here or did I
No,
get
I
cut off?
just said you're
Hold on,
essentially saying he's done
I
because
said
he
he's
won't
done.
reach his full potential on
I
the
mean, I've seen
Warriors.
Michael Ola with Candy, and
With
I've
the,
seen
look,
Greg
hold on,
Oldham. It's looking like a 2.0, if you ask me.
Golden State Warriors, because he's not a Golden State Warriors player. That's the thing. They're trying to develop him into something that they need.
Well,
It's a
no,
difference. Hold on, let me finish,
We
Marquise.
saying he's
I got
good,
cut
just
off.
not good in that system.
Let me finish. At the end of the day, I think Wiseman can be a great NBA player. If he's not getting the time or the reps, and he was the number 2 pick, and you're really not utilizing his skills because he needs time, then you might need to get a player that fits that time frame now, then wait on this player for later. Because it's not going to mix the same time frame that you got with Steph Curry.
Again,
and at the end of
give
the day,
us the trade.
At the end of the day, you're trying to win more championships with Steph Curry. That's the ultimate goal. No matter
Again,
how you put it in the next
give
5
us
years,
the trade,
goal is to
fat
win as
man.
most championships we can with Steph Curry as our star. And he doesn't fit that timeline. Not to say he's going to be a great player somewhere else. Just in my mind, not with this team. That's
The
all it is.
problem
It's
again, you
James
say trade.
Wiseman.
Fat
It's
man
James
is
Wiseman
cooking
for
right now.
Danny
He's
Green and
absolutely
Xavier
I'm just
cooking.
saying though,
That's the
if
trade.
He's saying
if
Wiseman
right
is
now,
good, but he's
he
just
does
better
not fit
off
your
in
time
another
frame,
offense. You trying to win now or win later. You can't have both ways where you developing them and you go. I mean, I guess that's what they want.
But
They want
you
to have their cake and they
can.
want to
no
have their cake and
franchise,
eat it.
no
They want to do
franchise
what
has
they did with
It's
ever,
Poole
hard though if
last
they
year,
no
right?
lose.
With every single
franchise has
player.
ever won.
You can have it both ways. It's called having a competent front office. It's about a front office who can look the fan in the face and say, yeah, you don't like his production for the 14 minutes he's getting this year, but he needs to work on his game. And we are confident that in 2 years, when his contract is going to be picked up and he gets an extension, he's ready to go. Like, everybody's assuming that these dudes are going to walk in and just light up the room. And that's not how NBA basketball works. It's just not. Tell me again how that's supposed to work. Like, they're not LeBron James level. They're not Kevin Durant level. We understand that. They're not going to walk in the door and put up 20. They can get a game where they put up 20, but they're nowhere near walking in ready to go 29 minutes per game to give them 16 points off the bench. That's why they're doing this now, so that the time the playoffs come, they're going to be competent and ready, so that they do step up and they do give you those 8 minutes and those 8 points in 18 minutes. That's the whole point. Like, what are we arguing about?
I mean, I could agree with you, Chris. I just think they're just struggling right now and they're just like frustrated. But it takes time, though.
No, the fans are frustrated.
Yeah, I think we
The team
just
is all right.
disagree.
No, the fans are frustrated. The team is all right.
Yeah, the biggest problem is they're giving up 119 points per game. Tell me I'm wrong. Someone tell me I'm wrong. You can't. So, like, if they don't give up 119 points, we aren't even having this conversation about what they're
Are we
doing.
talking about the Knicks?
No, we're talking about the
Oh,
Warriors.
because the Knicks have given up 119 points again.
You give up 119, you better score 120, so you might be wrong.
All right, we're going to take a break real quick from this Warriors talk. We got Sean with a W here on some time to talk about how his Knicks nicked. The floor is yours.
I'm going to post a tweet in the Jumbotron, if I can find it. Here is the tweet. The tweet is, in the history of the National Basketball Association, a home team has scored 135 points and lost 88 times. turn me down a little bit, Chris. Just a smidge. Do you know 80 in 75 plus years, 88 times? That means it's very difficult to score 135 points at home and lose a game. That is what happened in Madison Square Garden yesterday afternoon. A team employed by a defensive mastermind scored 135 points and lost by double digits. As I have said, I have said them in other spaces, I am fine being mid. I embrace the mid. But there's ways to go about being mid. You cannot. Me and Cedric have been arguing about this in our text chain for the last few days. Listen, you're either competing for the championship, competing for ping pong balls. And if you're not competing for those two things, you're in the middle. Now, certain people's, and I've said it before, certain teams are in the middle and don't realize they're in the middle. But certain teams in the middle, their middle looks better. I've said it all the time. Toronto's in the middle, but it looks better. Minnesota is in the middle, but it looks better. Dallas is in the middle, but it looks better. We're in the middle, and it looks like shit. It looks like absolute garbage. Because it's one thing if a team is 6-7 and they play hard and they play well and just lose to better teams. I can accept that. Like the game against Memphis, I can accept that. What I cannot accept is an 18-0 run in a quarter to Milwaukee. I cannot accept allowing 3 guys to hit 17 threes against Cleveland. I cannot accept being up by 23 and losing by 13 at home to the Hawks. I cannot accept allowing the Boston Celtics to set their franchise record for threes made in the game on your home court with 27. I cannot accept playing against your quote-unquote crosstown rivals and scoring 85 effing points to the Brooklyn Nets. And I cannot accept, again, allowing 145 points at home to a team that is supposedly not trying to win, and your team's employed by a defensive mastermind. Listen, this team has many issues, but Tom Thibodeau, thanks for the memories. The almighty 4th seed, it is time to say goodbye. And
say it again, my brother. Say it again, please.
Tom Thibodeau, thanks for the memories and the almighty 4th seed. It's time to say goodbye. And guess what, folks? Their next 5 games at Utah, at Denver, at Golden State, at Phoenix, at Oklahoma City. He may not make it back by Christmas. Thank you for your time. I will take any
That'd
questions.
be the best Christmas gift ever.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sean with the W. You can catch him hosting spaces with Live from the Mecca crew, Jeff J. Says, Cedric Shine, and you can catch his words and talents at Nick Film School. Sean, what you got coming up for the week?
I'm actually glad you said that because me and Cedric are going to throw feces at each other and engage in controlled toxicity on Live from the Mecca on on Wednesday at 2:05 p.m. Because we had some back and forth about some things, and it's been a while since we've engaged in controlled toxicity. So pull up on Friday. So you can pull up on Wednesday at 2:00. You can check in with Cedric, I Hate Sean, and Julito McCullum for KCD at noon. That's going to be a fucking barn. Excuse my French. That's going to be a barn burner. This Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, I will be doing KFS Study Hall, where I'll probably be lamenting about how the Golden State Warriors beat the brakes off of us, and hopefully I'll be celebrating the end of the Tom Thibodeau era. So yes, we got a lot going on this week in Knicks Land. Listen, if you want some entertainment, man, pull up, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
Look. I find it way better than anything really on TV or on the radio. I just put it on and let it keep going. Next chat a day after is literally like walking, off the bus terminal and into New York City. So if you've never been, get yourself a taste of what it's like and head over to KCDA, popping off in 19 minutes. And then set your timer for Wednesday 2:05 with Sean, live from the Mecca here on Twitter Spaces. We're going to get Sky Davis up here, and we got KP in here. We'll get a quick reset, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate the chatter and the talk. If you can't come up, hit the chat box. Get in there and give us your take. We got a whole bunch of them that are good. Justin Patton's got his reactions from all the games. And if you haven't signed up yet for the newsletter, put your email up there. All right, it's up there as the first tweet. Like and retweet it, and check it out. And if you don't like it, tell me how I suck. Like I'm all about that. I got DMs for days about telling me how shitty I am. I appreciate it. Trust me, it makes you feel better. Sky Davis, appreciate you coming up here. Your thoughts? Go ahead.
How you doing this morning, Chris? So I'm a longtime Golden State Warriors fan, and the way that this season to start is I'm not really panicked. There's really no reason to. They're starting essentially a new team because a lot of the guys who came off the bench, who were the glue guys, are just gone. So it's practically a new team off the bench. I wish Mark was still up here because Mark should know this. And as a Golden State Warriors fan, I know this, but a couple years ago, they considered Jordan Poole the worst player in basketball. Like that 2019-2020 season where he just couldn't make jumpers. He was considered the worst player in basketball. So, yes, the NBA is about growth. And it just takes longer to learn how to win than learning how to play in the NBA system. Learning how to play in the NBA system can happen within a year and a half. Learning how to win, that takes guys years. Like Joel Embiid's learning how to win. Jokic is learning how to win. All these guys that we consider the best people in basketball are learning how to win as we're seeing it. So the fact that Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman are learning how to win instead of learning how to play within the confines of an NBA game is impressive, but it's a lot harder and there's less room for error. So that's part of the reason why it's taking them a long time to get going. I just hope they can win. I just want them to win one road game at this point. I'm not asking for much. I just want them to win one road game, and I think everything will take care of itself. Once you said it best, if you allow 119 points per game, then you're not going to win. And they are allowing 119 points per game, and they're not winning. So once they shore up the defense, and you have one of the greatest offensive players we've ever seen doing what he does, then everything gets corrected. Thank you for letting me speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. KP, ladies and gentlemen, host of KP Was Right. He was right again. I'm gonna let him tell you why. You should make sure you follow him too. Sundays at 10:05 p.m. You can come through and catch up on the latest of pop culture. Last night, talking Wakanda Forever, and actually not even about the movie, but about the movement that is going to start and has started. KP, good morning. How you doing?
Appreciate it, Christopher. Thank you. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I'm having a wonderful day until I hear all these slanders from these non-championship team fans. Worry about what's going on at the bottom. Worry about what your BS front office is doing. Worry about what your trash-ass G League team is producing. Worry about the empty seats you got in that stadium and that arena. Worry about your team's valuation going down with every year that ticks by. Worry about that. Don't worry about the top. Because them young players y'all just bashed for the last hour and a half, they got a ring. Bad guy, where's bad guy? He got more rings than Embiid and Fat Man. The Fat Man and Embiid James Wiseman got more rings than him. Moses Moody got more rings than the other guy, Tobias Harris. They look the same. So stop it with the slander, man. Let these young cats get right, and they're going to get right, and everything's going to... You know what it is, Chris? And I'm going to get to my Wakanda Forever. Y'all are waiting. And I seen you, Jay, trying to give that sly-ass Danny Green. Get that Danny Green trash up out of here because he hurt Clay, right? We don't want them type of players on our team. Y'all waiting for the downfall of the greatest player of this era, Steph Curry. Y'all like, oh, please, maybe it's this time that Steph ain't gonna win again. Please get these. Yes, young players fail, so Steph can't win. Stop it. He's the best player in the league. He's the best point guard ever. He's the greatest player of this generation. LeBron is old. LeBron's making commercials with the LeBron against Father Time, and guess who's winning? If it wasn't for that bubble, Father Time would be 5 up on LeBron. So stop it. Thirdly or fourthly, whatever number I'm at, we did a great episode of KP Was Right again, because I'm always right. I've been right on this app since before Elon Musk released Spaces on Android. Thank God I got on Spaces before Elon came, because I would have been kicked off before. Did a great episode. Until all you Marvel recast T'Challa or the movie will fail fans, shut up. Stop talking to me. Get out of my DMs. Get off my timeline, because I told you this movie was a movement. It wasn't a movie. You guys just wanted some drama. How are you going to recast a character with actors that's still grieving? Like they didn't film the movie last week. They filmed it a couple of years ago when the brother passed away. What are we talking about here? So great movie. As you may know, I'm a DC enthusiast, but I give love when love is due. And I gave love because Black Panther 2 wasn't a Comedy Central. It wasn't Def Comedy Jam like Thor and the Multiverse of Midness and that Midnight, all that mid trash Marvel been dropping. They redeemed themselves. And you know who? It took a black man to redeem that white company. Shout out to Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, who I don't like. I'm just saying that to get y'all riled up, right? And then lastly, we're gonna be doing some great things over. I'm doing some great things with Chris on pop culture. For public consumption is coming out on your timeline. So look out for that. And if anybody has any great ideas, talk to Chris, because my brain can't handle you guys' ideas, because I'm just gonna tell you it's mid. And I'm gonna just bash you. If you follow me, Chris suggests that you follow me. If you follow me, I might bash your favorite player, and then you're going to get upset, and then you're going to do some sneak dissing, and then I'm going to flame you. So just be careful. I don't hold my tongue. I just tell it like it is. And stop flaming young cats because they got more rings than your favorite player. It's okay.
All right, there you
Number
go,
one,
ladies
you
and
gotta
gentlemen.
stay strong, man. I ain't never flaming young players. I don't know what he listening to. I guess I'm talking
See,
fast. When
people
listening
taking it.
slow,
People are
because I
taking it
never
personally.
said nothing bad
People
about
are
the young
taking it.
players.
I wasn't even
It's
speaking
big,
to you. I wasn't
understand you
speaking.
do a decent
He's
job.
not
I
even
wasn't
talking
speaking to
about you,
you
fat man.
directly. I wasn't speaking to you directly. But if you're taking it directly,
Said my name.
you can take it to you directly. It's okay. If you're taking it that personally, it's meant for you. I'm gonna do the 50
heard
cent.
fat.
And
All right, cool. All right.
no, I don't know fat. I don't know. I don't know your name. I don't know your nickname. I don't know if that's your real name. I don't know if that's your social or your government or the new if you got a check mark with your $8. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's all cool with the slick talk, but I'm just saying though, you got to start listening. Nobody slandered the young players. Nobody said they was trash. Nobody said they not good. They said don't fit on the team. So you got to start to know what you're listening to. That's just period. That's just period, bro. You got
my ears work fine. My ears work fine.
See, like y'all just talking over each other like y'all yelling at the bus stop, man. Damn. He took it as slander. You're taking it as a personal ball, and we keep it moving. We gonna go next to Nat. What's up, Nat?
Yeah, damn. When KP was talking or whatever, he brought up the Black Panther movie. I did see it yesterday. I just wanted to show it some love. That movie was phenomenal. That movie was well written. You can tell that they had the scrap a lot of the movie before and rewrite it. The writing was on point. I mean, I actually was not a huge fan of the first one for certain particular reasons, not the acting or the actors, but just the writing. This one I felt like was way better than the first one. It was amazing what they did. Shuri is fire, but yeah, go see it. Go see it twice. I think it warrants that. That's it.
Wow, go see it
And
twice.
Namor isn't as good as Aquaman. So I'm just putting that out there right now.
Wait, what?
Namor is not as good as Aquaman.
He's better.
Namor flames Aquaman, bro.
Stop it, Matt. Stop it, Matt. Stop
He's
it.
better, KP. Stop hating.
You
Come
know
on, bad
what?
guy. Don't do.
So I'm gonna give y'all a story. Student body elections are here, right? Like this is about the time that kids in schools across this country make posters, give speeches, and my son decided to run for student council at his school, right? And so like he said, I want to make some posters. I'm going to have to give a speech. And I'm like, man, you got a jam-packed weekend, right? You got this robotics tournament, you got swimming practice, and like you're going to have to really like lock in to doing everything you're saying you're going to want to do if you want to have a chance to succeed, right? And 6 hours later, 2 posters have been made. And that is how you know he is still a child. Right? Because he couldn't look into, the ether of time and realize he was expending it on nonsense to focus on making 2 posters. And like that is a microcosm of what it is like being a rookie or a sophomore or even a junior player in the NBA as you ascend into a regular productive role, right? It's different if we're just talking these guys are getting 8 or 9 minutes that are like at the end of the game because it's out of, the score is out of reach. But we're talking 15 minutes, 18 minutes, building them up to get to 23 minutes. Because at 23 minutes, not only are you a phenomenally productive bench player, but you are at that point a spot starter. And the issue we have in Golden State is the optics of it are horrendous because they are coming off of a championship hangover that exists. Whether you like to admit it or not, it exists. And, you get back from celebrating and you go right in to the season. Like the idea that they have time to ramp up, it doesn't work that way any longer. That's why they hire trainers like Mark to work out all year round. And so like when they start, they have to get up to game shape. They're not there yet. And so we see some of the older players like Clay struggle. We see some of the older players like Dre kind of struggle. They have games that they're on. They have games that they're off. And then we are expecting that these rookies are going to come in and immediately pick up the slack. But when you look at what they did last year, there was nothing last year that indicated they were ready to assume the mantle of the players that they are replacing. And that's why they went out and picked up Dante DiVincenzo, who's been, up until last night, out. And when you watch the Warriors, the biggest, weakness besides the defense, which will improve, but I don't think they're the defensive team of last year, is they don't have an effective backup point guard. Because last year, that was Jordan Poole's job. But they told him, and they worked with him, that he needed to work on something else because pretty soon it's going to be his turn to start. And then now, you and I've made this point before, you are training for something. And then at the last minute, they say, hey, we can't put you there on that new job yet. You still have to do this. But he is already mentally checked out because he's thinking he's going to be this. And so, like, that takes a whole mental and emotional reset, right? And, like, that's what we're seeing in Jordan Poole's game, is this time that he needs to basically get himself back into the position he was last year while still working to be the eventual starter, right? So, yeah, they could make a trade, but the trade would return diminishing value. And then that puts the problem on extending the window. Because you know who made a trade that received diminishing value and they won a championship? It was the Los Angeles Lakers. That's right. The 3-10 Los Angeles Lakers. Like, that is their way. And look what they are in now. That's what Golden State is trying to avoid. So if you are to make a trade, which you can, how are you going to make a trade of equal value? Because none of the veterans you really need are going to be at the price points on these rookies' contract. So going in towards Christmas, because we're only 40 some odd days away. What I really want everybody to focus on is what they do in the game, right? Are they making the right cut? Are they making the right read? Are they picking up the right rotation? And then if by Christmas they are some like 5-6 games under 500, then by all means come on up, because we probably will flame them. Because at that point, we know what team they are, and they'll be 5 games under 500. And we can say with pretty much market determination that they are now not as good. So, like, be careful. 13 games in, a lot of players who've only, they don't even have, 50 games worth of minutes played yet. Like, I just say, hold up. All right, we've got Doppler. What's up, Doppler? Your hands up. Appreciate the patience. What you got?
Hey guys, thanks. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. You're a Spurs fan, right?
Yeah. To
Yeah.
the end. 999. Okay, well, yeah. For a moment, I thought you didn't want me up here, and I realized I haven't retweeted your request, and then when I did, I still got dropped. Sorry.
Oh, well, personally, that's not me. Like, I'm not moving people up and on unless I have a full thing. Sometimes you drop off and you just have to raise your hand again.
Yeah, because I thought, man, maybe because Chris is mad at me for being like an anti Doc Rivers.
Nah, man, you got to do something real crazy for me to be upset at you. All right, you've heard the conversation. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. You can make any take you want in words of the NBA, and I'm going to hit the button to hit reset and go into the third hour. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
The thing is, I've been wanting to speak since the Timberwolves topic, but I couldn't get in. So, yeah, but we're doing the Warriors then. I think it's pretty simple. I think it's just because Draymond has created a toxic environment that radiated across the every player. Like, this guy's the boss in here. Like, see how bossy he is. So the fact that he could punch somebody and not get suspended about it, probably created fear around. So I think it caused a lot of chemistry issues. A lot of maybe even impacted cooperation. And if you also think about the 119 points per game allowed, you also got to think this is a very high octane team. So even if they allow 119 points per game from their opponent, they should be able to upset it, right? But no, it's because I think Clay, as one, has not been as productive as he is when he went back from this injury, and I think that's also that's getting into him. That's getting under his skin, and you see how frustrated he's become, right? So I'm sure you heard about that altercation with Devin Booker. So he's just like telling him about his 4 rings for no reason, right? So very uncharacteristic of Clay, and it's just really goes to show how frustrated he is with his game. So it's chain reaction, causing their offense to decline as well. So if you notice last year, Curry's offense has degraded or regressed, but still they won a championship, right? So I don't think it's Curry. Curry is actually efficient. I thought he's going to continue his inefficiency trend this year, but it looks like he's trending up now. So And we all know that great players will, even if they struggle in regular season, will eventually appear when you need them the most. That's how you define greatness. So that's why I don't consider Doc as a great coach, but only a good coach. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. I think when it comes to greatness, right? You've got sustained success as the main argument for Doc Rivers. He's not Pop. He's not Curry. He's not going to have the championships to correlate to his success, and that's why people will say he's a regular season coach. My issue to you then would be like, well, then if that's the case, right? All these other coaches that we kind of hold in high esteem also are not as high, right? and that's the issue. We end up making this like a de facto. Well, now there's only 3 great coaches being in the last 30 years: Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, and Greg Popovich, because we're basing it on a byproduct of championships. When coaching is more than that. Coaching is putting the player in the best position to succeed with their talent, to put the team in the best position to win games, right? And if you look at his track record, he's a great coach.
Yep, I respect that.
So
And I was
that's
going to say this: he is a great coach. If you compare him to mediocre coaches.
well, you can only compare him to the other people who've coached. All right.
Anyway, let's probably put it in a challenge. If he's able to get the 76ers into the conference finals, at least get into the conference finals, regardless if he loses to that, then let's have a conversation. And if he's able to get this team into a championship, that's going to be a step closer to being one of the greatest, but not going to be one of the greatest, but still going to be enough consideration for being among the greatest. Right? So,
All right, let me get KP up back in here. He's got his hand up. KP, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to just mention a couple things. Since I'm gonna close out my opinion upon the Warriors. I'm not worried about it. But one, Klay hasn't even been back for a year yet. He's still on a minutes restriction. He wasn't playing back to backs. Draymond wasn't playing back to backs. He was on a minutes restriction. Kerr was making silly moves with the bench, putting in all young players at the same time with no staggering of the starting lineup. He has since and hence changed that. So once they figure out their bench rotations, they'll be fine.
Yep.
And things of that nature. So once Klay gets back to his normal self, which I think will happen this year, because it'll be a year in February that he'll be back in actual basketball games, not just playing basketball. So I give things time. I'm a very patient person. And so are they. So they have to be patient because this is their game plan, which has worked before. However, I want every fan of any team wants their team to win the games that they think that they should be winning. But as such is life, things don't always go the same. What Sean still here? He's always said life isn't linear, or winning is something. Life isn't linear.
Progress isn't linear.
The way they won last year isn't going to be the way they win this year, which they will win this year again. But it just doesn't look the same. And people go off course because it's not looking the same, or as they seen other teams win. But until the Warriors get beat with Klay, Dre, and Steph all healthy at the same time playing every game in the playoffs, I'm not worried about them.
Mm-hmm. Well, totally agree with everything you said, KP. In fact, I never mentioned anything futuristic, right? So whatever I said earlier is actually just the current situation. And I was also going to continue on the Golden State Warriors take. Just forgot about it, so I will continue it now. But knowing that this is a great team, I know for sure that they'll bounce back at some point in the season. So we can expect that to happen. But right now, I'm just throwing out my take on what's probably going on with them right now. So I think it's a very legit take. And then if we go to the Timberwolves, I don't know if you guys. I'm sure some of the guys here may be aware of what Jimmy Butler's take, right? So combine all their hearts, all those the core players in Timberwolves, it won't equate to Jimmy's heart. And we all know how what kind of person this Jimmy is. He's a no nonsense, no bullshit type of guy player, and it sometimes it causes trouble for him in the locker room. Imagine throwing his own coach into a fist fight. So, right. So we all
All right.
know what Jimmy is.
All right, I want to go ahead. Finish up your take.
Right.
All right. Well, you're kind of going in and out, so I couldn't tell if you were done. It's kind of like a muffled sound now. We got Grindhouse Grizz up here breaking in through his lunchtime, ladies and gentlemen. Grindhouse, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's what happened to the Grizzlies without Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. However, the rookies are getting a lot of run, and they're looking real good off the bench. Go ahead and break down the game for us.
Good morning, good afternoon, as you said. Yeah, last night was pretty rough, but these guys fought through it. Tyus Jones tried to hold down the fort for us. Had a decent game, nice floaters all game long. Just wasn't enough. Like you said, our rookies got some good run. Really impressed with David Roddy off the move last night. We've been kind of just sticking him in the corner and tried to tell him to hit some threes, but that's just not his game. In college, he was the number one option. He was the guy with the ball in his hands, and we allowed him to do that a little bit last night, and he looked a little bit better. So shout out to David Roddy. But honestly, what I mainly came up here for, I dropped it up there in the Jumbotron. Nicole on Bill at Nicole on Bill wrote a really good article on Desmond Bane. I know there's a lot going around with more than an athlete type things going around the NBA right now, and I just want to and Miss Nicole highlighted something very good about Desmond Bane as a person and a community guy. In the Memphis community, back in his community, back at home in Richmond, Indiana, and also around the TCU area down there in Texas and everything. So just please read that article, retweet it out. We really want this to get kind of like some national attention a little bit. So Desmond Bane has done great work in communities that he has been a part of in his life. He was raised by his great grandparents and everything like that. Really great family. They passed away during COVID and everything like that. So she wrote a very deep piece on this, and Chris, you know who Memphis Wilcox is, I'm sure. He used to come in here last year. He recently had neck surgery, and the day that he had it, our city edition jerseys dropped. So he wasn't able to get one. And Desmond Bane reached out to him and tweeted at him and let him know that he got him. That's a part of the article as well. So yeah, that's mainly what I came up here for. Let's give Desmond Bane some love, not just as a basketball player, but as a community guy that he is becoming for sure.
Man, I had no idea that he had to have neck surgery. Make sure you say what's up to him for me, man. Memphis Wilcox, ladies and gentlemen, was the second Memphis fan to find us here on Hoop Spaces after Jay the Wakandan found us, and shout out to him and big ups Desmond Bane, Richmond, Indiana's own Desmond Bane. And let me tell you, if you've never been to Richmond, don't worry, like it's bad. Like I've been there, like. Some of these larger towns that were borderline cities over the last 30 years, like kind of have been shuttered up, and it's hard out there in Richmond for some folk. And he's done a fantastic job finding the only opportunity at TCU. Like, just think how jaded he could become. Like, he's had everybody, not really in his corner when he's trying to follow his dream and his belief, and now blowing up in Memphis and getting ready to just be the best human being he could possibly be. So shout out to Desmond Bane.
Appreciate you once again, Chris.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Make sure you go ahead and tune in to Grindhouse Grizzlies. You can find him up here on Spaces. I'm gonna work out and maybe get somebody from that group to give us some regular contributions, maybe to the website and newsletter that I'm trying to build here for all of the content creators talking hoops here on Twitter Spaces. All right, I can hit this button now because we're 10 minutes overdue. You know, I try to keep it, you know, as scheduled as possible. You know, but it's hard. We get passionate. We lose track of time, and that's a cool thing, right? Time. It's never enough of it, but there's always too much. And I do want to say this time, if you spend any amount of time here with us on Hoop Spaces, we are grateful. Lots of content creators come through here. You know what? Not even just content creators, producers from networks like ESPN, CBS, Bleacher Report, they're in here. They're down there right now, right? Listening to you and your takes because you are what drives this industry. And I want to say thank you because without you, we wouldn't be here. Brought to you by Slam Goods. You can head over to slamgoods.com right now. You can use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15% off of your entire order. And in the mood of giving thanks, as we are approaching Thanksgiving, I want to say thank you to the Pickup Card Game. He's not in the building. Shout out to him. The Pickup Card Game. You can pick up your copy over at slamgoods.com and use promo code HoopSpaces and save 15%. He is the one who is, you know, spread the word. And like, that's all we ask is if you are enjoying, you know, the content, if you are having fun, if you like it, share it. You know, just share. Reach out to one fan of the NBA, one fan of the team that you know, and say, hey, you really got to check out this space, man. They come in here, they talk ball every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. And like, it's just fun. And you don't have to worry about talking the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets for 48 out of 60 minutes with 11 minutes of commercials and 1 minute of basketball talk. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a round of applause and say thank you one last time. Brought to you by slamgoods.com. Slamgoods.com. Go pick up a hoodie. And speaking of picking up a hoodie, you'll be able to pick up a Hoop Spaces hoodie very soon. Yeah, I think that's going to be dope. There's also a plushy teddy bear. Yeah, for the kids. Because Hoop Spaces is for the kids.
I need a teddy bear, Chris.
Bro, I got you. Trust me. Very soon. All right, going into the third hour, I want to go ahead and pull an audible, as they say in football. Like, I don't watch football, but I still know the terminology. Since KP is still up here, I'm going to roll to KP to give us a breakdown or a quick breakdown of Nas's new album that just came out. KP, do you have anything on the good brother Nas and the release of what has been probably the most anticipated Nas album since God's Son back in 2002?
It's called King Disease 3. Phenomenal album by the good brother Nasir Jones. Shout out to Hit Boy, the producer on the album. Done phenomenal work. If you don't know who Hit Boy is, he did Paris with Jay-Z and Kanye. Phenomenal producer. Nas is, it's kind of like he's in a groove right now of great rapping, but bringing it back to where he first came out. His style of flow, his wordplay, his metaphors are really, really potent on this album. I give it a 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely worth your stream. It's worth your purchase. And it may be for a select ear because it's not Glorilla. You're not going to be bopping. You're not going to be dancing. You're not going to be doing the shimmy or the shake. You're not going to be doing the two-step. You're going to be listening. And it's just like reading sometimes. It's hard to do. But reading is good for you, and so is listening. The metaphors and the breakdowns that he used in this album are phenomenal. And I'm not the biggest Nas fan. I'm a Jay-Z fan. And that war will go on forever. So whoever wants to say something, that's fine. We can go back and forth forever. But I give credit where credit is due. This is a phenomenal album. I've listened to it 3 times already, straight through. No skips. If you like boom bap, that means it has the drums, right? It's just not synthesizers. It's just not techno. There's not a lot of guitars in this thing. It's not strumming. There's boom bap in this. If you got headphones with bass, this album is for you. If you travel, he has some great riding songs. He has some great, really in-depth songs. Beef is a great song. Fun is a great song. I forgot the other song that I really gotta say, but check it out. I think it's 12 tracks, perfect length of time. It's not overblown. It's not overproduced. It's in that pocket. For the Nas fans, you're really gonna like this. For the hip hop fans, you're really gonna like this. And for people that don't like Nas or not really into it, when you hear it, you're gonna appreciate it because you're gonna feel. It makes you feel good after you finish listening to it. It may make you think. It may make you research some stuff that you don't know about. Some characters that in Nas' personal life that he speaks about. And you'd be like, oh, who is this guy? Who's that lady? What was that situation? Really dope line. But I will say this. He brung up the Ether takeover, and I will forever bask in the glory of how great Takeover was and how mid Ether was. But check the album out. It's really dope.
All right, appreciate it. Jay the Wakandan, go ahead.
I wanted to talk about the Wizards part of that Grizzly game. Obviously, the scouting report, because we talked about it on Friday how they were the worst team at shooting threes, but he didn't shoot a lot of them, and so they followed the scouting report, and the Wizards shot the cover off the ball, and I was just laughing watching the game because I'm like,
everybody but Kuzma.
Yes.
Everybody but Kuzma was hitting shots.
With a flamethrower, bro. And I'm like, this is what I get for showing y'all love. This is where we're at. So, but not like I said, man, the Wizards are going to be a sneaky, play-in, playoff team. If they don't sell the team off for parts at the trade deadline. And I enjoy watching Wes Unsfeld kind of captain that ship, man.
It's amazing. I remember his dad got ran out of town essentially, and and same thing with kind of like Coach Bickerstaff and Coach Silas too. So like their resurgence and success, minus Silas in Houston, because it's apparently Houston, is amazing and should be talked about. And Unseld Jr. has the Wizards winning. And they're actually playing really good basketball, and they're doing it with multiple lineups because Bradley Beal's still out with protocols, although he's no longer positive. Kristaps Porzingis has been in and out in the lineup. In fact, their most consistent player until last night was Kyle Kuzma, who ended up going 1 for 7 from deep, 4 for 13 from the floor. Corey Crispert is back. Denny Avdija looks like he's found his big boy game. This is a weird team that somehow finds a way to win. And I think if, Bradley Beal can come back and just do the bare minimum of fitting in and providing timely scoring, he should probably start instead of Morris and run with that. And I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, man. I think they, like you said, it's a weird team, but when you look at them, they have the quote unquote modern formula. They have a big who can spread the floor. They have 2 big wings that can be combos, 3-4 guys, so they can switch a lot on defense. And their point guard doesn't think that they're the star of the show. I am concerned about Johnny Davis as a draft pick. I know he's a rookie. But on this team, especially with Beal out, what his skill set was, you think that he would get a DNP in this type of game, or a lot of DNPs that he's been getting during the season.
I've heard he's been torched in practice, bro.
Yeah. And
it ain't an offensive thing. Like he's just he's a turnstile.
It's not. Yeah, he's a turnstile one. Yeah, he's a turnstile. But you would think on this team they would let him cook for like the last 2 minutes of the second quarter. You know what I'm saying? Just to find him something where he can contribute positively. Because I don't know how you get. Well, I mean, you can get better at defense at practice, but game speed is game speed. So if it's that bad, why not let him cook in the G League affiliate? Because when we was talking about the Warriors and how their player development is, it's like, no, you in all seriousness, you have to play Wiseman, you have to play Kuminga, you have to get them ready for the role that they're going to play on that playoff team. But with the Wizards, Johnny Davis is not there. There were some guys picked after Johnny Davis, like a Jake LaRavia, like a David Roddy, that are contributing on teams that are expected to do well in the playoffs. And I'm wondering, what do the Wizards do?
Well, he was I think the last time he played for the Go-Go's, he was averaging about 15 points per game. The issue is just the defense and actually like shot selection too. He's not really finishing well at the rim. He's hitting some of the distance shots. But I think the issue is a older school mentality from Wes Unseld Jr., who would rather have him work at the pro league with the trainers up there. And Mark has actually kind of talked about this a couple of times in the world of training. Some of these teams have trainers who aren't necessarily the best fit for each individual player. And what it could be is that Washington has a really good trainer for forwards, but Johnny Davis is not a forward. He's a guard. And so, he's not getting the extra attention to the guard training that he would if he had somebody who was like Mark, who focuses more on, guards and wings. So I think it could be that. And then also, if you look at the historical development of Washington, the only two players that they have developed of any note in the last 20 years is John Wall and Bradley Beal. That's one reason why they hired Dr. Catherine Evans from Toronto to help retool the entire process of talent evaluation as well as development. She's a phenomenal mind. I think she's smart. I think she has a chance to actually turn that around in Washington. But let's make no mistake about it. Johnny Davis isn't doing what a lot of people thought he was going to do, and that's just a shame. All right. Anybody else here want to talk some Capital City Go-Go's or some Wizards? Now's the time to pop up. If not, we got a couple more games that we need to go ahead and get to as we got 40 minutes, and we're going to turn our attention next to the Denver Nuggets. And I asked the question, are the Denver Nuggets the best team in the NBA? And I'm going to ask that question down to you, the audience. Is Denver the best team in the NBA? Take record out of it. They are 9-4. They have an amazing ability to win without even realizing they're winning. Every Denver Nugget that touched the floor last night scored a minimum of 3 points. But that's not the story. The story is Nikola Jokic, who decided to just shun the league and not play the game. He took 4 shots in 28 minutes. 4. He didn't attempt a single free throw. He was only fouled twice in this game. He only grabbed 6 rebounds. Bruce Brown, who is 6'4", almost had twice as many rebounds. And yet he finished the game with the best plus minus, the best differential on offense and defense, and that's with Michael Porter Jr. scoring 31 points. How do you do this? How? It is insane that this dude is allowed to get away with this, and I want Adam Silver and the NBA to investigate this tomfoolery that is going on in Denver. And if I don't get Jokic taking 10 shots a game, I'm going to quit. Like, why is he not averaging 20, 20, and 20? He's like the human, I'm going to do it and you can't stop me machine. Is Denver the best coach? We'll go first to Doppler. We'll pop up to Jay the Wakandan tech support. We'll ask KP. Maybe Evan Townsend from Project Spurs. Rolo or Jose from 77 Spaces. Or Justin Patton, the YouTube coordinator for Hoop Spaces. Maybe they can pop up here and give us their thoughts. Doppler, your thoughts on the Denver Nuggets. Go. Yep, you got the horns. How do you feel? All right, I still can't hear him. Does anybody hear him?
No, I don't. I can take Doppler's spot just real quick.
Go ahead.
The Nuggets look like a team that has found a groove. I don't know if they found their groove, but they found a groove. I don't know if they're the best team in the league. I think once Boston gets Robert Williams back, I think they might be the best team in the league at a specific point, whenever that is, because Boston's defense isn't as great as it was last year, but their offense is better. So I think they took that 180 turn as to what they're focusing on. But Jokic is just playing basketball. He's not trying to do anything specific. I think he's putting players in a different type of position where he was last year, where he had to carry. And I think that, I don't know, whether they're on a back-to-back, Chris, because I don't know the schedule.
Oh, you mean from Denver or Chicago on a back-to-back?
Oh, Denver.
No.
Okay. Maybe it was just one of them anomaly games where he was like, you know what, I'm tired. Lifting those MVP trophies at the same time was, broke my back for a day. Being on the farm all my life, one of them old injuries creeped up for a couple hours, like the 24-hour flu or something. Who knows? But they look like a really cohesive team, especially with Jamal Murray back and Michael Porter Jr. back. But I don't trust them in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to sustain this type of play in the playoffs, especially when you have to cut your bench down. But yeah, we're going to see. But they look like a really good team. I don't know if they're the best team in the league. I have to do more mental thoughts, because especially with what Milwaukee is doing. I think Milwaukee's up there, slightly above them, not just record-wise, but just play-wise. And I don't know Denver's schedule and who they actually played and beat, so I have to do that too. But yeah, they're really good. They're really good.
No problem. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They have not played a super tough schedule, right? They beat the Lakers. They actually split the Lakers. They beat them once, lost to them once. They beat the Jazz, Thunder, Spurs twice, Celtics. They lost to. They beat the Pacers. They beat the Thunder and the Warriors, right? Like they haven't fought anybody. Like they've either won or they've lost. So there isn't any even one defining moment in any given game. And that's part of my problem is there's no defining moment in any game. And it speaks to the dominance of Nikola Jokic. And Jamal Murray was drafted to be a point guard. And I am convinced that I would give out more assists than Jamal Murray, because he had 2. That's the big man in the middle, who's a point guard from, literally under the basket from the other end all the way down the floor, is that good. Jay the Wakandan, your thoughts on the dominance of Nikola Jokic, and are the Denver Nuggets the best team in the NBA?
Yeah. Nah, man. With Jokic, you can play 5 out, and a lot of teams' defensive schemes are not geared for their center to be at the top of the key. And then the Nuggets do this really cool off-ball rub baseline cut thing. And when Michael Porter's 6'10", and Jeff Green is 6'8", 6'9", it creates a really bad situation for teams that are geared to switch everything, because now you're talking about your point guard or your shooting guard guarding this cutting wing to the basket. And then when they collapse, the Nuggets are unselfish enough, because when you run that on both sides of the floor and the defense collapses, the guy who gets it can just kind of catch and kick to the corner or catch and kick to the wing. It is phenomenally bizarro fun basketball to watch, because they're literally the only team in the league that can run this system. And it's a nice zig to the league zag.
So word on the street is that Michael Porter Jr. is the 6'10" version of Klay Thompson. What do y'all think about that?
That's some kind of rhetoric you're putting out there.
I am here for it. That is what we were promised. Oh, I was about to go to Evan Townsend and he dropped. Well, John, your turn. Your thoughts here on the Denver Nuggets. Are they the best team in the NBA?
I wouldn't say they're the best team in the NBA yet. I would say that I will put for some context. Jokic was basically the only other point guard available that was available for them, other than Jamal. Bones was on HSP, and I think not Monty Morris, Ish Smith, the ever reliable backup point guard that everybody should be looking for, has a calf injury that keeps him out. So it's expected that Nikola would be basically doing the point guard duties for this particular game until Bones returns. So yeah, I'm not surprised with the 12 assists. He probably figured out that, hey, MPJ got the hot hand today. Let's go feed him. So it's important. It's important to have guys that that can hoop and figure out, hey, who can figure out what's the right thing to do, like what Tyrese Maxey said in that post game press conference, where he said that there was a coach that wanted to do a pick and roll, and he said, let's just feed Joel Embiid for today. So that when Joel has a hot hand, you feed him, and that's not a slight at someone who's considered a great coach, but it's important that you look at it on a game to game basis as to what was the what was the situation, all that. So that's
Well, let
so we'll
me
see.
let me give you some game to game basis on why I'm saying word on the street is Michael Porter Jr. is a 6'10" Klay Thompson. The dude played 24 minutes, led all scorers of 31. He took 16 shots in those 24 minutes. 9 of those were three. He was 6 for 3. 24 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, 31 points. Buy or sell. My apparently inflammatory my tweet, because I just got hit up by a couple of Warriors fans in the DM saying, "What are you doing?" I am here making a statement. The statement is Michael Porter Jr. is really good at shooting the ball. Go
But
ahead, John.
isn't that what we were expecting from Michael Porter Jr. coming into the league? Before all the all the stuff about his spine came out, and his health issues. That's
Well,
why he
no, the
dropped.
health issues were always there. That's why when he was, I was like, if I'm a GM, I'm not touching him. Not the health issues, the back issues are too scary. His brother, also Jonte, tore ACL. The other brother got hurt, for crying out loud. All of them did. But like we tried to say earlier when we were talking about the Warriors, you have to give these people time to grow into their game and their body. And Michael Porter Jr. looks healthy. He looks good. And Evan Townsend is ready. Go ahead, Evan. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. MPJ just doesn't stretch. That man just don't stretch. I'm telling you. It's a fun fact. Can't believe I'm about to say this, but in middle school, Chris, I'm 6'2", right? 6'2". Dad is 6'5". Mom is 6'1", right? Doctor said, "Oh, you're gonna be 6'6". Just keep stretching, keep doing your thing. In middle school, I took a charge. Everyone knows this that knows me, and I bruised my tailbone. Chris. You know what that did? Stunted my growth. Didn't stretch. MPJ, brittle like me. I can't play basketball for more than 2 days straight without having to having to stretch, having to do that. Yeah, MPJ is just brittle. He's just brittle. I'm telling you. But I came up here realistically. Sorry, I know I just had to feel like I had to say that. Sorry, but when it comes down to it, the Denver Nuggets are not the best team in the NBA. They're probably like a top 3 lock in terms of fluidity. Honestly, just having everyone back, not just MPJ, but Jamal Murray, KCP filling the shooter's role that they needed, a 3-and-D type of guy. Bones Highland, Jesus Christ, Bones Highland is the truth. Bones Highland is probably going to get some sleeper Camp USA invites in a couple years. That's how good he is. He's not in the second or third. He is in the second tier in terms of guards in his class, but he's right then and there. Like, he's not a scrub. So they just have a lot of, just like I said, chemistry in terms of depth, in terms of great coaching. Nikola Jokic is not just literally he's not in any type of aggression, any type of I got to get mine type of mode to get going. He has people that he has to get going. Aaron Gordon is just a play finisher. Everyone else needs to get going. MPJ needs to get his shots. KCP needs to get hot. Bones in the second unit has to get hot for them to win. And Jamal Murray is just the icing on the cake. So the Bucks, the Celtics are just as good, or just as deep. And you can't really say that they're the best team when they don't have the best record, and they have a tough schedule coming up. So I don't know. We'll see probably in a couple weeks.
All right. We got
Evan,
hoops. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
well, let me ask Evan something. So going by record, would you agree that the Lakers without LeBron are the best team in the league because they're undefeated?
Wait, say it again.
Yo, that's me,
It's just
bro.
joke. That's just joke. But Paulo Banchero's still better.
Oh, see, there you go again, man. Like, you did it perfectly too. Because up next is Hoop Spaces Ryan, and we're gonna also get ready to talk some Lakers as well, as they were victorious over the Brooklyn Nets last night. But we're sticking on the Denver topic first with Ryan. Ryan, good morning. Denver, they are a wonky team. They zag when everybody zigged, and I think that they very well might be the best team in the league.
All right, well, we could talk about the best team in the league, but I want to react really quick about the Michael Porter Jr., Klay Thompson thing. He don't play defense like Klay, and his back ain't going to hold up like Klay's body held up most of his career. So I just want to put that to bed right there. He can shoot. The kid can shoot. He can shoot. I'll give him that. The kid can shoot, but that's the only thing that he has in common with Klay. Klay's got so much more that, in my opinion, not comparable at all. I'm sorry, Chris. Not comparable at all. Come back to me when you're ready for trivia. I got another 10 minutes that I can do it.
All right, cool. I will say though that I think what we are seeing is two separate things. Klay Thompson, like Michael Porter Jr., will always be a threat to have his 3-point percentage be higher than his field goal percentage, I think. And Michael Porter Jr. career, like this year, 48% from three, 49.7 from the field. Man, it's phenomenal to watch. All right, we will then actually move into trivia. We can do that now as we have 10 minutes to go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for the basketball fan in you who doesn't mind coming up here and getting asked easy questions and getting them wrong. So what we need is a volunteer. It can be somebody already up on the stage or down below. Oh, John wants that smoke. You hear that? He's like, I want it. All right. Well, we will take all directions from the tower. Hoop Spaces Ryan. The floor is yours.
All right, sir. I am putting it up on the Jumbotron because I think this is a tough one that we're going to need some help on. So we got ISO players, guys that do qualified ISO, minimum 10 games and at least 2 ISOs per game. We got a couple teams that have 2 players, one in the top 5 points per possession, and another player on the same team in the bottom 5 points per possession. Can you figure out either of those 2 teams that have a player in the top 5 and bottom 5 in points per possession on ISOs?
Wow.
The Nets.
The Nets are incorrect.
Oh.
That is tough.
What about Chris's team?
You're gonna
That
have to
is
say it.
The Sixers.
The Sixers are incorrect.
wow. The Lakers.
The Lakers are incorrect.
The Cavs.
Hey, what's your favorite team?
The Clippers are not going to be in that list.
Okay, I was just curious. No, the Clippers are not it.
Yo, this is hard. Oklahoma City.
OKC is not it.
What
Dang.
about the Jazz? The
Maybe
Jazz.
think players. It's not the Jazz. Think players.
Well, I mean, that's why that's why I said LA. That's why I said Oklahoma City. I was thinking AD and SGA versus like Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Westbrook.
How about
I will tell
Dallas?
you one of them has the highest and lowest on the same team.
Houston.
How about Dallas?
Dallas is incorrect.
Sacramento.
Sacramento is incorrect. Wow, this is a tough one, isn't it?
Houston. What about Houston?
Houston is not correct.
Yo, I tapped, bro. Good. Everybody give Hoop Spaces Ryan a round of applause. What a phenomenal question.
Atlanta.
We have Megaloo. Thank you for coming up and giving a guess, Megaloo. 6 of the 12. Go ahead, man.
Is it the Pelicans?
The Pelicans are number 1 and number 1 for worst and best. Do you want to guess the player?
Oh, God.
Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum?
Is Herb?
Nah, man. No way. Dang, who is it, Ryan? We might have lost him. Man, I was stumped. I did not see the Pels as being an answer.
I know that CJ got to be one of the lowest right now. I mean, he's going through one of the worst shooting slumps of his career. It's either CJ McCollum and Zion or CJ McCollum and BI.
Well, I was thinking Devontae Graham got some run. And that man can chuck. Man. Ryan, you back with us? Well, we will wait for him to come back. But we will actually take this moment to say what is up to 6 of the 12 and Megaloo, and give congratulations to Megaloo and those Sacramento Kings as they were victorious last night against the Golden State Warriors. Megaloo, if you want to add any of your take about the Sacramento Kings, go ahead. The floor is yours.
We are on the upswing. That's all I really can say. I mean, the fan base is pretty excited to be 500, and we might get more than 41 wins this season, and it's fucking exciting for us. So, moderate gains. That's what I'm all about.
So I was living in the Thomas, and the Kings are just miserable. But I remember the one thing that kind of carried me through watching some of that is Isaiah Thomas's signature Pizza Guy commercial. I don't know if you remember that commercial. I still crack up at it every time. And every time I get the chance to, I let him know that he was a pizza guy. Then we had some with Boogie, right? Like some good commercials. I want to know, who's the dude right now that's making the rounds for the local TV spots?
There isn't anyone right now. That's kind of it's kind of gone by the wayside since COVID, probably. But I mean, we have normally, like, our team will have like one weirdo hero kind of guy, like IT was, who's just obviously better than other people. Right now, we actually have a team. Like, we have Malik Monk, we have Kevin Huerter, we have Keegan Murray. They're all good. And like on any given night, like one of them might be the third best player on the team. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's a standout kind of guy like that that's gonna get those contracts. Boogie was such an easy mark because, like, he did the hot and cold AC commercials. Those were so good because he was hot and cold. It's hilarious. But yeah, so we'll see if any of that shakes out. Right now that we have the Band-Aid going for Malik Monk, and we have the headband going for Kevin Herter, and the Fox and the Ox. So it's all fun. It's all good vibes right now, you know.
I definitely am happy for you and every Kings fan. It's hard out there in the NBA streets. It's been a long time, so I hope you enjoy it. Ryan, you back with us?
I am. I apologize. My phone rang and then my audio dropped, so I apologize right in the middle of trying to give everybody the answer. I sent it to you. I don't know if you said it to everybody, or do you want me to give it?
I did not, because I see it now, but go ahead.
All right. So I apologize, everybody, for the delay, but the Pelicans were the first team. Zion is first in the league with 1.28 points per possession. CJ McCollum is worst in the league with 0.57.
Let's go.
The other team is the New York Knicks. Did anybody get the two players on the Knicks, or did anybody want to guess those? No, I'll just give them.
This RJ Barrett and Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson is number one, and he is 1.27 points per possession. So he's basically tied for first. Does anyone want to guess the bottom five?
Is RJ Barrett the other?
No, it is not. There is a bottom five player in points per possession and ISOs on the Knicks.
Is it Julius Randle?
It is Mr. Julius Randle.
The laughter.
Oh my God. If Sean was on the Spaces, he'll probably talk about Julius Randle a lot.
Oh, look, that's why we didn't, because KCDA is going live right now, and let me tell you, I have it on the computer. It is hilarious. If you do want to check out some Knicks talk in the 10 minutes after we get ready, check them out. They really going through it. 6 of the 12. Congratulations on nailing the New Orleans Pelicans. Here's your prize. I hope that makes you feel good. Round of applause, because we don't have any prize money. Like we don't. Maybe one day, maybe that would be dope. But the best we can do is say, good job, man. You should be proud of yourself. How you feel?
Yo, man. No, man, I've been good. Sorry I haven't been able to make it to the Spaces lately. Work has just been really hard to even come into the Spaces and things like that. I try to get in whenever I can. It's not because the Pelicans have been losing. I promise you that's not why. But no, I just gotta say, it is great to be back in the Spaces. To hear your voice. Be with these great people that love basketball. It's always a good feeling. But no, man, I think it's really funny that Ryan with Who Spaces brought that question up, because that was going to be the one thing that I really talked about today if I was given the opportunity to talk. Was look, I don't like to name drop, but CJ McCollum has really been hijacking our offense lately. You can see it if you watch the games. Not many people watch the Pelicans, but if you do watch the Pelicans, you can see them get into a groove offensively. Passing the ball around, finding the open guys, shooting the ball, and then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 possessions go by, and CJ has to get his shot up. He doesn't just get it up. He'll take 15 dribbles, run whole court, force a bad shot. And I think the thing that really bothers Pelicans fans is that your two best players are Brandon Ingram and Zion. All right, CJ is the complementary piece that we need. But in no way, shape, or form should he have more shots per game than Zion and BI. That's just my take on it. And then I think a lot of the things that Willie Green, it took a minute for Willie Green to understand Zion's playing style. I think the first 7-8 games of the season so far, he's had Zion in a role where he's trying to make him a post player, which he can be a post player. But especially about how much Zion likes to go left, it's so easy to double him in the post. I think what makes Zion difficult is with Stan Van Gundy. I mean, look, Stan Van Gundy was not a great coach for us, but he did put the ball in Zion's hands to be a slasher / playmaker at the top of the key. And I think that's what makes our offense difficult is when Zion can have the opportunity to drive, kick, and do some of those things like that. But yeah, man, look, I love CJ. It's just he has really been kind of a downside of our offense this year. And our defense is terrible. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it 100, man. Our defense has been really bad. We might not be that bad in defensive rating because we had a really good first 4 games of the season. But we have not looked good defensively. Still trying to figure it out what kind of team we are. Still excited about the future. It's still early. But I think it's a lot of figuring out to do. This is the first time that we've really had our team play as a whole in a couple of years. So I think they're still trying to figure it out as well. And yeah, about the Klay Thompson and Michael Porter Jr. thing, man. I like Michael Porter Jr. He's a long, lengthy guy that can, play defense and shoot the rock from 3. But that's almost like a disrespect to Klay, man. I mean, he might get there one day, but he has to be a cornerstone for that franchise like Klay was for Golden State. That's all I got, man. Have a good Monday.
All right, and you could always try to get your doctor to write a note saying that you have to listen to Hoop Spaces and it'll make you a more productive worker.
Hey, I'm here for it, Chris.
All right, making the day easier to survive. I appreciate that. Ryan, we have one game left, and I know you're probably pulling up, and you ain't gonna have much time to talk about it. But your favorite team got a much needed win, 116-103. Lakers over the Brooklyn Nets. Anthony Davis, 37 points, 18 boards. Lonnie Walker, 25 points. Russell Westbrook, 14 and 12 off the bench. Your thoughts on a good victory? It was a real good win, and it was a win that they needed.
It was a win that they needed. It was a real good victory. I'm not sure about this Nets team. I'm not sure how much to put into it because this Nets team isn't doing very well. The Lakers team isn't doing very well. It was like watching 2 struggling teams go at it. Really proud of Lonnie Walker. He's having, to me, a much better season than I would have expected out of someone we signed for that contract. Really happy to see him thrive. And it's not just his game, it's his attitude. I don't know if everybody's watching games. I know, Chris, you do, but he's just a happy player. And it warms my heart to see someone play the game with that kind of attitude and everything. And I think it's infectious, and it moves out to the rest of the team. Austin Reeves is another player that I know I was saying kind words about last season, and I know, Chris, you said some things about it when you're like, if Austin Reeves is who you're hanging your hat on, I don't know what you're doing. I don't think it's a championship roster by any stretch, but there are some bright spots on it. Anthony Davis is showing some flashes of the bubble chip year. I'm not one of those people who thinks we have a shot, especially without Braun on the team, but or playing or anything like that. But it's nice to see. We can't have Russell Westbrook throwing up 4 of 15 and keeping running like this. He does some nice things for the team. Don't get me wrong, but I still believe that for this team to move forward, we still got to move him. Use that $47 million in a better way. But at least we've got some solidified roles at this point, and perhaps we have stopped the massive amount of bleeding. I don't think 3 wins at this point in the season is a great, place to be by anyone's stretch, but coming off a win is much better than coming off a loss. I guess I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I'm happy for Lonnie Walker. You're right. I think the freedom from being in San Antonio, where he realized he was not going to get any time. If you see how Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and Trey Jones are playing, like that was the trio that they were going to go with this year, and that's why they rescinded the qualifying offer, allowing Lonnie Walker to go sign with the Lakers, because I think the Lakers, told him. I think they were honest and said, hey, like, he'll get minutes here that he's going to start. He's been a great surprise. I didn't necessarily think he was a bad player coming out of Miami, but I also didn't think he was necessarily a great player for a pro. But he's career year, 16 points, a couple of rebounds, couple of assists, and room for growth. And only 23 years old. And like, that's important. This is his 5th year and he's only 23. I don't look down on that. It's like same thing with Troy Brown Jr., right? 5th year, I think, 4th or 5th. And he is only 23. This went in line with Rob Pelinka's plan. Actually, this is his 6th year. And that was to try to get some of these young players that didn't get a lot of run everywhere, see who works, keep them. Those who don't will probably be gone to open up roster spots for the buyout market. If the Lakers can actually get together a couple of more wins, let's say they enter the holiday at, 7 and 12, like that's 5 games out of 500, and they could be on their way back up. They have the Pistons coming up next, so it's not like they're going to have a super hard schedule. Brooklyn, on the other hand, I think they're going to be tied to Kyrie Irving, and I didn't really like that game for Brooklyn either because it was just nothing but KD hero ball. Here's the Lakers' upcoming schedule: Detroit, San Antonio, Phoenix, San Antonio. That's 5. If they go in Indiana, we'll add that. If they go 3-3, if they go 500, I think what Ryan is saying holds in effect if they stop the bleeding. KP, your thoughts? Go ahead.
Hey, Ryan, is Ryan still here? Oh, he left.
He bounced into the office.
I was going to ask Laker fans a question. Who's winning, LeBron or Father Time? That's what I want to know. That's all.
Father Time is undefeated. Like we know. It's going to happen to Steph too.
And I wanted to ask the Lakers fans, who would they rather have, Malik Monk or Lonnie Walker?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a real good one. They play different games, so to be honest, many of them would probably say Malik Monk because they wouldn't have to. Yeah, they wouldn't have to look at Pat Bev as the starting point guard, and they'd get more shooting. But Lonnie Walker actually is probably the better defender, and he's actually done better than Malik Monk this year.
Will Pelinka keep him this time? They tried to keep Monk last time, right?
Well, I don't think he has any recourse. Part of the reason why he got these people were also that they're on the low end, and when they re-sign, they're like, even if Lonnie Walker finishes the season with 20 points, 4 boards, and 3 assists, he's not going to get like a $30 million deal. Like you're looking at like Joe Harris money, 16 to 20, and that. For all of you who play fantasy basketball with the salary cap like I do, that is how you build a deep roster. It's not signing 3 dudes to $47 million. It's signing 3 dudes to $12 to $20 million, right? Who completely accentuate your best player, and then signing that second dude. So, like, if they're building around LeBron James, ideally, you would want a person who could shoot and defend. Lonnie Walker is showing that he can do that. So if he's going to end up averaging 17 points, well, let's give him the Dylan Brooks, run through. $17 million a year, 3 years. So you're looking at $51 million, right? That's not a exorbitant amount, but it locks in a young, ready, athletic player. Then they go into the offseason with the clean cap sheet, and because they have their bird rights, they'll sign the free agents first, and then they'll sign these guys later so they can go over the cap just like Golden State did.
Yeah, once Westbrook leaves, the Lakers will be able to sign more players. They're waiting for that ominous day when they can just say bye-bye.
Yep. And it's not just him. It's everybody not named LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Damian Jones has a player option. One other player has a second year. That's Max Christie, and he's on a rookie deal, so he's got 4 years. So everybody else is off the books. Pat Bev, gone. Russell Westbrook, gone. Austin Reeves, gone. Bryant, gone. Toscano Anderson, gone. Like that was the deal. That was how Pelinka, I think, convinced Jeannie Buss that was the best way to get a championship, and that's why he got an extension.
Oh, Chris, real quick.
Yeah.
Shaq is dropping his documentary on HBO Max on the 23rd. So if you like Shaq, if you're interested in his story, he's dropping his own documentary, not a Lakers documentary, a Shaquille O'Neal doc on HBO Max on November 23rd.
Man, I tell you what, these player docs are the thing of the future. They are going to be phenomenal too. They are going to be written expressly to benefit the player, and I am for that. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see the Shaq documentary talk about Hack-a-Shaq. Right? Like, because what is he going to say?
Right. He's going to say, I made it when it counts.
Yeah, I made it when it counts. That's exactly you know what? Point to you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That's the show. 3 hours of nothing but basketball talk. Like, how amazing was that? And like, what's really cool is if you look up on your phone, we talked about every game but one. We did that on purpose. We did not talk about the Philadelphia 76ers and the Utah Jazz game because we didn't have to, because of Doc Rivers' greatness and the greatness of Joel Embiid's 59 points. 105-98 your score. Here's your takeaways. Tony Snell Award winner of the night? Check. PJ Tucker. 30 minutes of cardio. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we go ahead and bid you adieu. We will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Go to slamgoods.com. Visit our sponsor. Check out the collectibles. Promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15%. Sign up for the best newsletter covering the NBA. Peace out. See you tomorrow.